So for a minute, I'm like, oh, God.
You're so paranoid.
Hey, what's up? How we doing? It's Wednesday. My dudes. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on the radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina, and, of course, the entire rest of the free world. I say free world because Lonzo and I are banned in China, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran. Basically,
the axis of evil.
The axis of evil.
Yeah,
Lonzo and I have been banned from those countries. And that's not a joke.
But you know, Rob, in places that are oppressed, such as the places you just mentioned.
North Korea, we're out in North Korea.
Places full of oppression, they have this thing called pirate radio. And on pirate radio somewhere, there is someone huddled underneath a blanket listening to this program going, screw you, government. I want the Rob Brown Show.
Rebel! I love it. I love it. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Wednesday edition of the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. I am Rob. He is the pinnacle of professionalism, the content couch cow, the alpha and the omega of ESPN Upstate. Hashtag Dad Kicks, Colonel Grudge, and Captain Wet Blanket. I'm not going to call him that forever, but somebody requested I add that, so I'm going to give it to him for one day.
Okay. Yeah, that's me. I ruined whatever party I'm at. I am curious about something, though. I heard something reluctantly on the offside program yesterday.
Reluctantly?
Yeah. Because I didn't want to be here. That's what I'm saying. But, hopefully we'll remedy that situation pretty soon. You know what? When you are the last line of defense. Yeah. And he didn't do anything. He's just playing. He's just
out golf and fishing.
No, he bought video games. He bought Assassin's Creed, and he was complaining. He said he didn't like it. And so I told him he needed to buy Valhalla or Black Flag. Now he would enjoy those. You got him discounted because I think that's the only way that he buys video games. That's fine. Hey, he works in radio. I completely get it. But apparently I have a nemesis. And I was unaware that Tim Frisbee was my nemesis.
I didn't know that either.
But it's not true, Tim. I love you, man. I know you're probably listening right now. Everybody knows who my nemesis is.
I have no idea. No clue. I'm just glad you're on this show, buddy.
Me too.
I am Rob Brown. To my direct across is the great one, Lonzo. You guys are welcome to be a part of the show. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. Email, robbrown@espnupstate.com. It comes to my phone. If you guys email Rob, I should not tell you this. If you guys email robbrown@espn.com, that's my professional email, but it forwards to my phone. So if you email me, I'll get it wherever I am. And I regret saying that. Text line's open. Ingles Market text line is there for you at 71307-71307. Start your text with ESPN so we can read them on the air. Text line has been lit this week. Between Darren Waller threatening to Thanos the groins of players on the opposite team yesterday, the text line has been absolutely LIT lit.
So the word of the day yesterday was groin. Who knew?
Who knew? The correct question is not who knew, Lonzo, but whose fault? You can't. You know what? Of all the times that groin or anything connected has been the word of the day on the show, that was the first time it was not my fault. Not my fault. And I won't accept it. Let's start the show.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here. Scuttlebutt.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It is the lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworkers, or the dog, whoever it is you share the lunch table with. This will be the scuttlebutt. These will be the things you will be discussing. And that, Lonzo, is how we do it. Back in the saddle again. Alonso's just like, I was going to say he's looking. He's not even looking at me. He's looking past me.
No, I'm trying to figure out how to be a wet blanket on every situation, and I can't do it. It must happen organically.
Alonso's absolutely not a wet blanket. He just hates people having fun while they're playing football. That's all. That's it. That's all he's against. Fun.
I'm just a rules guy. What can I say?
Ugh.
Look at me. Everything about me says conformity.
Ugh. Texas says ESPN, any news on the women's soccer team name? They were taking suggestions. They were taking suggestions up until Monday. So good. They were taking suggestions up through Monday. And I believe, and I could be incorrect, we're going to actually ask John Harkes is going to be joining us later on in the show. The head coach of the Greenville Triumph will be joining us at 12:20. We'll ask him what he thinks about it. Anyway, they took names, I believe, through Monday. They were taking suggestions. Now, my understanding, and I could be wrong, and I will get a text from Chris Lewis containing multiple emojis if I'm wrong here. I believe they have been taking suggestions. Now that they have their suggestions from the community, including an emphasized suggestion from the Rob Brown Show Nation, where we suggested Greenville Triumph to be carried by both teams, and then like a little arrow down and to the right that says like down arrow parentheses ... or Greenville Triumph United. But Greenville Triumph's great. Anyway, I believe they will be discussing it internally amongst themselves. And then there is the potential for a vote down the line, but I'll see if I can get more details for you later on. I'll let you know. But that's where they're at right now. Item number 1 of the lunch breakdown, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, Major League Baseball playoffs underway. The wild card American League game goes down last night, and Nathan Eovaldi is a gangster. America, 5.1 inning pitched, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, not a walk to be seen. The Yankees as a whole go a collective 6 for 32. In fact, the only one with success at the dish last night, Giancarlo Stanton, was 3 for 4 on the night with 1 K and a dinger. Anthony Rizzo was 1 of 4. Aaron Judge was 1 of 4. Urshela was 1 for 4. And everybody else was, well, not great. Not great at all. The Red Sox, on the other hand, not significantly better, but definitely better. 7 of 28 on the night. Schwarber, Hernandez had a hit. So did Xavier Bogaerts. Xavier Bogaerts, in his 1 for 2, went yard at Fenway Park. Big dinger for Xavier Bogaerts, who got the momentum rolling for Boston. Verdugo had a pair of hits for the Bo Sox as well. Only 9 strikeouts on the night. They also took 7 walks on the night, did the Red Sox. Garrett Cole, L-O-L. You remember Garrett Cole, don't you, Lonzo? The guy who gave us the worst answer to a question in sports broadcasting history.
I believe I've heard a promo about that somewhere.
Correct. Hey, Garrett, I'll give you a redemption shot here, buddy. Would you like to admit now that the sticky stuff absolutely mattered? Would you like to admit now that the sticky stuff absolutely made a difference? Because last night, Garrett Cole went out and was abysmal. 2 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, a pair of walks, 2 dingers, and 3 strikeouts through 2 innings pitched. The Yankees ended up having to bring in a relief pitcher in Clay Holmes in the third inning. And he was better than Garrett Cole. Unbelievable lack of performance from that team. Embarrassing from the Yankees. I have no doubt. Absolutely embarrassing from the Yankees. I have no doubt. All right, we'll come back to that later on because, yeah, I want to make fun of New York. Are you kidding me? Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown, Brooksy and Brycey. It's finally happening. However, I'm at the point now where I am. Look, I've been under the suspicion that this whole rivalry on the golf course has been, I don't know, Lonzo, fraudulent to some degree, right?
Well written, contrived,
Better than anything WWE's come up with for an angle in a couple of months. That's not true. They've got a couple going right now.
I'm a hater.
I just like that's just my thing. Before the season started, the PGA announced that they were putting together a pot of $2 million, $2 million bucks, and they were going to divvy it up amongst the golfers who were able to drive the most attention on social media to get folks who aren't golf fans to pay attention to golf. Lonzo, I would go so far as to say, since Tiger Woods began demolishing everybody in every major on Sundays, no 2 golfers have moved the needle amongst non-golfers. No 2 golfers have moved the needle amongst social media golf fans like Brooks and Bryson. All right? They just haven't. Well, I suspected from the beginning, though I still love it. I don't know why. It's a weird situation because I believed from the beginning that this is a contrived rivalry, right? I believe it is a contrived rivalry. I think they made up this rivalry. They were like, wait a minute, man. Look, as Lonzo and I talked with the big bosses in the meeting yesterday, what drives people's interest more than anything else? Conflict, right? Think about the best, Lonzo, if we think about the best video games we've ever played, the best movies we've ever watched, the best television games we've ever watched, the best music we've ever listened to, any form of entertainment that we watch, what we consider, for the majority of us, what we consider the best of it is conflict driven. And when I say conflict, I don't mean fight. Sometimes I do.
Well, I agree with you on everything except for the music because, Enya just does something for me. And
it brings up an internal conflict because she wants you to be happy and you're a wet blanket. Hashtag callback. Nailed it.
Good job.
Thanks. I'm working on my stand-up comedy routine. Anyway, conflict drives interest in everything. When you think about the shows, the sports talk radio shows that have long been considered the pinnacle, can you name me one show? And this is not a shot at us, and I'll explain why in a second. But Lonzo, can you name me one of the pinnacle shows that does not have conflict as its centerpiece? You can't. You can take your time, think about it. But you can't because there's not one. Human beings love conflict. And I'm not saying like violence. And conflict does not mean to have to be yelly, screamy, angry. Sometimes it can mean conflict like internal conflict. It can be external conflict. It can be dramatic conflict. It can be conflict in someone's morals and ethics, Urban Meyer. That makes a story compelling. In the grand scheme of things, to me, not a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. To Lonzo, not a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. To 99% of people listening to the station, not a Jaguars fan. In theory, Lonzo, we really should not have any interest in the Urban Meyer story.
I'm going to say, if you are a Jaguars fan,
I'm so sorry.
You understand conflict.
Yeah, if you need to
call
call
you're conflicted the beginning of and end of every season.
If you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, call in. I have some numbers for some great therapists in the area. They can help. Okay.
That were recommended, not that he uses them or anything.
I will acknowledge that I do. There's no shame in that. Judge away, kids.
Well, one therapist is what you said. Multiple. Yeah.
It's one. It's one.
Yeah,
it's one. I don't.
Let's go in a totally different direction.
Fair enough. No, one. I see one at a time. So conflict driven. We should not care about the Urban Meyer story, right? But we do. Why? Because there's conflict there. There's conflict between Herb and the team. There's conflict between Herb and his family. There's conflict between Herb and Shad Khan, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. This is segueing to item number 3. There's conflict between Herb and the Jags fans. There's conflict within the team. There's conflict between folks like Mark Ryan who are diving on the grenade for Herb to try to protect him from well-deserved criticism. And people like me who are going, why are you diving on the grenade for a guy who is just going to turn his back and walk away and do it again as he has everywhere he's been? There's conflict everywhere around the story, which is why if you go to every sports website on the internet today, Herb is somewhere in the top 4, 5, 6 stores. Okay? Bryson and Brooksy knew that. So they built this conflict between the two of them, two young rising stars. They built some conflict. Here's the thing. It worked. It worked. It worked because it's still entertaining, even when I know it's fabricated conflict. Just like, dare I say it, professional wrestling. Do I go in knowing that Bobby Lashley and Bill Goldberg don't really, well, they might, but don't really hate each other and don't really want to, quote, kill each other, end quote? Yeah. Do I want to see them do it fake anyway? Also, yeah. That's Brooks and Brycey to me. It's professional wrestling, come to golf, and as I talked about yesterday with Lane Kiffin, give me the drama. Give me the personality. Give me the characters. In places where sports have a reputation for being boring, golf is one of those places.
Well, here's the thing. If it is not contrived and it's real, there's no way they can do what they're going to do and it not come out and us not see it.
Yeah, they've got to hit a tipping point, right?
Yes.
Because, like, golf is, we watch them on TV for 4 days a week. The majority of us watch them maybe 2. Most people watch them for 1 day a week. And then they're not together. But see, here's the kicker. They won the Ryder Cup together last weekend. And what was the first thing they did when they won the Ryder Cup? What did the two of them do? They met right in front of the Ryder Cup, and they gave each other, like, 4 hugs. And don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with the bro hug. I got a bro hug from Lonzo after we won our trophy. I was more proud of that than the damn trophy.
You had to request it.
I did.
You did.
I did. It was like a requa demand. Like I was asking you as I was moving in for the bro hug because it wasn't an option in that moment.
I was pretty happy that night. I would like to think I was kind of weak.
See what hugs can do for you? Make you happy. Not the wet blanket. Just this show, Lonzo, I promise. Just this show.
Each time it makes me want to retaliate.
I know.
Yeah.
Have at it. It's fine. I can take it.
No, that would be conflict. We wouldn't want any of that.
Definitely not. Not on this show. Not on this show. So Brooksy and Brycey created this conflict. They getting paid for it. Now we got the match. The match. Handful of weeks from now, Brooksy and Brycey are going to have the match volume 3? The match 3?
I believe so. If you're the PGA, though, you have to set these guys down and go, hey, you have set up a story here.
Yeah, you got Walter.
You cannot come in this thing and be nothing but calm and fist pumps and all. No.
No, it's got to be up.
Yeah. We want some snide underneath comments. We want some side eye. Not saying you should throw a punch, but if you did, make it like near the end of the match.
Fine you, but way less than you'll make in this tournament. Here are my thoughts, right? Like, so when I use like wrestling comparisons a lot because they're understandable for us. Lonzo, I'll tell you this. How many great wrestling storylines have we had that like slow burn storylines that are stories that have played out over a year and a half, and then they get to the payoff match and the match sucks, and you're like, all right, cool. I guess that's how this ends. Right?
But then there are other ones.
There are other ones. And the payoff's great because they absolutely smoke each other. And you're like, so good. The bad guy finally got his butt whooped. Oh, the bad guy won. Oh no. What's gonna happen? That's what this is, right? This is the payoff match. This is they had the go home set up going into the Ryder Cup. Are they going to be able to coexist? Will they be able to survive on a team together? Are they going to be okay?
Can we have a caddy fight? Can we? I mean, these guys are just, and then finally the caddies come over the top, and start going at each other.
It's a tag team match. They're set up for it.
Absolutely. Now I got to look up and see.
I'll be interested. I will be
height
interested.
and weight of caddies. I'm curious.
I will be interested to see what the attitude is on the field for these two guys. They have won a Ryder Cup together. They were hugging and celebrating, and they all went out drinking that night together. I would be curious to see what the attitude of these two golfers is. If they come out and they're fist bumping, bro happy, blah, 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 which is fine, by the way, because remember, the first two, the matches, which were Tiger and Phil, and then Phil and, oh God, who was it in match number 2? Phil and whoever. It wasn't Phil and Tiger in the match 2, was it? How did I forget? Quarantine time screwed me up. The match 2. Oh, no, it was Tiger and Phil again. And then now we got the match 3. Tiger and Phil were fine. They were just joking and broing out and having fun, which is great and entertaining, especially when you had Brady and Manning and then you had Aaron Rodgers and whoever the other one was. I forgot. My memory's dumb.
All right, I'm looking up caddies, and apparently there was a split between DeChambeau and his other caddy. So we could have a run-in. We could absolutely have a run-in. We could have a caddy run-in.
By God, that's Tony Finau's music.
You got to do it. I mean, let's make this thing interesting.
As God is my witness, he just broke that driver right in half. That man's got a family. Anyway, I'm in. It's interesting.
I don't think Finau is a guy that's going to run in. He might twist his ankle on the way in.
I say that like either one of us could take Tony Finau.
He's
That dude's a top-tier athlete.
Like Brandon Cutler.
He's just a nerd, but he's a great athlete. Anyway, the match 3 will be 12 holes long. I don't know how they came to that. 12 holes long.
Rob, they can only tolerate each other for 12 holes.
They're gonna
That's it.
Watch them sell that. We found out in the Ryder Cup that at hole 13 we were ready to beat each other, so we went to hole 12 here. I suspect it's because they want to run it later in the afternoon, right? Like you want to put this on prime. You want to put this where the end of it's on prime time. So you start it at 4 in the afternoon. You know you're not going to finish 18. Dude, just start it early and run it on delay. Honestly, nobody's at the course. Start it early and run it on delay. All right, quick break. Back after this. The Rob Brown Show's on the radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Dake. John Hart's head coach of the Greenville Triumph joining us at 1:20 p.m. today.
Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley. High school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the Score's discussion, interviews, and more on the Saturday Morning Scramble powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. There's a snap. In reverse, Queen Meadows, right side. Queen Meadows, it is a one-score. The Saturday Morning Scramble. Mad World Haunted Attraction is now open. Voted one of America's top haunts and #1 in South Carolina. Experience the biggest and scariest haunted attraction, full of dark woods, incredible set designs. It's more than just a haunted house. There are escape rooms, scary carnival games, concessions, bonfire, amazing photo opportunities, a gift shop, and our brand new 18-hole Ghost Town mini golf. Mad World has scary entertainment for all ages, including families, adults, teenagers, and the adrenaline junkies at home.
You were right, Marvin. You're absolutely right.
The place to be this Halloween season. Don't miss it. Buy your tickets now at Mad World Attractions.
Every time you call me a wet blanket, I hear Debbie Downer music. Your old ringtone.
Oh, it was my ringtone. Yeah, I forgot about that. My text tone.
Ah. It just reminds me of the meeting yesterday when your phone went off and immediately everybody got muted. Thanks for that. Like the mad thing you didn't point out it was you. It would be a little more subtle with that.
Tonight, I'm going to have a real good time. I feel alive.
It's been a while, but I know that's not a show tune.
That is
So-
not a show tune.
I'm not getting the lyrics on this.
Queen.
Oh, it's that song that I can't stand, the worst Queen song of all
Oh,
time.
all right. Well, you've just ended our friendship.
That's why it's just no wonder you and Chris Evans are friends. We've had this conversation on the air about how bad that song is, and he just wanted to fight me, and so do you. But, you know,
Phil and Bryson. That's right. Because it was the long drive contest. Good call. Good call, Mike. Appreciate you, big dog. Texter says the build up to Sting Hogan Starrcade 97 was epic. The match sucked. I will have to go back and watch that one.
gee, I wonder whose fault that was.
Hogan's.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
it's always
that was
Hogan's
his
fault.
sarcasm.
Oh yeah, it's
just-
always Hogan's fault. It's amazing what happens when Hogan doesn't get Hogan's way. Suddenly he's
Sting should have just come out, went off script, and Scorpion, Death Drop, Deathlock, boom, done, whatever.
a la the. Did you ever see the most cringy thing ever when Jeff Hardy came to the ring absolutely plastered when Sting was with TNA?
Yeah, I watched the documentary
Yeah.
and saw it there. I didn't actually see it happen live. Thank goodness.
I didn't see it live, but I've seen the video multiple times, and Sting was genuinely furious, which, yeah, of course he should have been. But what a moment. All right. John Harkes is going to be joining us coming up in a little less than an hour from right now. Head coach of the Greenville Triumph after they get a 1-0 win this past weekend. The boys are on the road this week, and then they come back for two more at the house before going on the road at the end of the season. They are right now in the top half of those that are playoff contenders. So we'll talk to Coach about how you finish. How do you finish the season? How do you stay mentally strong to finish the season? John Harkes will be joining us coming up at about 1:20 this afternoon. Real quick, I wanted to bring this up. I genuinely feel bad for Ron Rivera right now. Like, really feel bad for Ron Rivera. This dude, Ron Rivera, who by all accounts, Lonzo, now he had left Carolina, obviously, by the time that I got here. But from everybody that I have talked to around here, both Carolina fans and those in media who got the opportunity to meet Ron Rivera and chat with him or interview him, by all accounts, Lonzo, Ron Rivera seems to be like a decent man, like a good guy.
I got to say, I am one of those people who got to interview Ron Rivera, and I've been calling for him to be fired forever. And people dared me to ask him why he wasn't fired, which I would not do. And even if I'm not Jim Rome. And
conflict?
But I had to go, Mark Ryan and I were over at Panther Camp, got to go. He showed up. I had to go bring him to the table, doing those producer thingies, and then actually got to talk to him on the air and ask him a couple questions. We know I ask off the wall goofball questions, and he just laughed about them, answered them, looked you in the eye, smiled, had fun the entire time, and was really down to earth. And it was one of the more fun interviews I've ever been a part of. And I was nervous going into that. And Mark Ryan, I think he was nervous too. So, and then once we started talking to him, it was cool.
You
took pictures after too. After we were done, he didn't just jump up and run out of there. There's a nice picture with Mark Ryan, Ron Rivera, and the boss down the hall. I think Steve might have been in it too, but he's kind of short, so I can't remember. So,
from everything.
Been nice working here, by the way.
From everything that I've read about Ron Rivera, he seems like a good guy, and not a bad football coach, right? Ron Rivera gets to Washington, and you can hear the frustration in his voice now. Here's a quote that he gave yesterday, and I couldn't get the audio pulled before we came on the air, unfortunately. I'll try to have it for tomorrow. But Ron Rivera was asked in a press conference if he thinks what he would say to, quote, to the people that say there's always a black cloud over the team, end quote. And here's what Ron Rivera said. Now, I'm going to say this with no inflection at all, Lonzo, and I want you to tell me what you hear from this quote. Quote, well, that's what we're trying to correct. That's what we're trying to fix. But for whatever reason, we just keep getting drawn back into things. So, guys, at the end of the day, we're going to let this play out, and we'll trust in the system, and we'll go from there, end quote. Does that sound like to you?
A very standard coach answer.
Yes.
We're going to trust in the system.
That's the coach part.
Yeah.
But the first half of that, what would you say to the people that say there's always a black cloud over the team? Quote, well, that's what we're trying to correct. That's what we're trying to fix. But for whatever reason, we just keep getting drawn back into things, end quote.
That is, that's saying you're right. There is a black cloud over the team.
Oh, yeah.
So you're admitting that those people who say there is one, there is one. Yeah.
Are correct. I didn't like this hire when it happened. Not because
when they're being investigated, or one of their guys.
So
is being
the
investigated,
trainer of the head trainer of the Washington football team is under investigation for some sort of felonious behavior by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Lonzo, the feds don't knock on the door unless you screwed up. You know what I mean? If the feds come a knocking, you done screwed up. So the feds showed up to the Washington football team building and conducted a search against the head trainer. Now, the FBI put out a press release that said this has nothing to do with the team. The Washington football team suspended the guy and said this has nothing to do with the team. There's nothing. But here's the thing.
While we're here, we just thought we'd look into things. You never know.
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly he done something. The feds don't come knocking if they don't have that. Let me rephrase that. in my experience, and I'm not an attorney, nor did I stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. But in my experience, Lonzo, the feds don't knock on the door for the most part. For the most part. But in situations like this where they're going into an NFL billion-dollar franchise building.
And knowing the publicity that's going to happen
Correct.
afterwards, yeah.
In a situation like that, the feds don't go in unless they already know what they're looking for, Lonzo. You know what I mean? Like, they know what they're looking for, and maybe they find something else. But in a situation, now, sure, there's situations for the little guy where they'll, they think, whatever, another story, another time. But a situation like this, they don't kick the door down to the Washington football team unless they know exactly what they're looking for and exactly where to try to find it. Okay? Here's the problem. This is very well off the market, right? This is very well off the Washington football team's radar. I believe them when they say that. I really do. But the end of the day, whether you like it or not, the buck stops at the top. And when they're this is a similar situation to Herb. This little situation with the girl in the bar that we've been talking about with Herb, while you guys have tried to pin me on, Rob, is a really big deal. He was dancing with a girl in the bar. That's not the point. The point is the pattern of repeated unacceptable behavior year after year after year after year after year, and give it another opportunity and failing his responsibilities again. This is not, it is not the issue. If this was happening in, I don't know, Lonzo, Kansas City. No, I wouldn't even go there because they've had small controversies, but controversies. What would you say has been the most positively run NFL franchise in recent memory? I'm trying to think. I can pretty much come up with a controversy for all 32 off the top of my head.
That's the problem. I mean, it depends on what you
Which one would you
consider.
say has had their hands cleanest for the longest period of time dating back?
That would have to be a very boring team that we don't think of.
100%. That's why I'm having a hard time thinking about it. The Chargers, maybe? Since Justin Herbert showed up, I don't think they've really had any issue.
Maybe.
Anyway, here's the thing. If it's any other NFL franchise, with a couple of exceptions, that have for the most part kept their hands clean, NBD, no big deal, right? This would be like, oh, that sucks. You got a dude in there that screwed you over. That's a bad thing, man.
My concern is if they showed up just because people believe that nobody else had anything to do with it. How often is that? I'd be more concerned that there are other people within the organization who have a hand in whatever's going on.
So maybe. And that honestly, here's the thing. I would believe that is the case, but the feds have said explicitly, and they wouldn't do this if there was any chance. They wouldn't say this because this can come into play later if there's some sort of trial, conviction, etc. The Fed said it has nothing to do with the football team. And I believe them. The problem is not that this happened. If this happened to let's just use our own teams for example. If this happened to my team, where we've had a head coach who's gotten into a little bit of a problem by using some narcotics that he got through the team years ago. It's happened to my team. You know what my response would be? Honestly, if I'm a fan, my response would be, somebody made a dumb decision to hire this guy, but it is what it is. Problem is with Washington, there has been lawsuits and there have been firings and there have been investigations, and it has just been controversy after 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 controversy. And they stack up. And now you've added another one. I got it. The Washington football team. The Washington Urban Meyers now. Because that's the pattern they followed. Repeat problems and then hope people forget. Sorry, bro. Not how it works. Change your ownership, change your management, or just keep being you, Washington football team. Get out of there while you still can, Chase. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
Christine Lisi right now. The Patriots have released Stephon Gilmore. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the surprise move comes after the star quarterback and the Patriots couldn't agree to terms on a restructured deal. His contract was set to expire after this season. Multiple teams expected to be interested in Gilmore. He should be recovered from his quad injury when he's eligible to come off the PUP list following week 6. One day after being publicly reprimanded by Jaguars owner Shad Khan, Coach Urban Meyer addressed his entire team and apologized for his behavior last weekend. Meyer, who first apologized Monday, acknowledged on his radio show he needs to regain the organization's trust. A video surfaced over the weekend showing a young woman dancing close to Meyer's lap while at an Ohio restaurant. Two-story franchises in the NL wildcard game tonight. Dodgers Cardinals 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Max Scherzer on the hill against Adam Wainwright.
It went to.
Oh, hang on.
Hey, I never finished the first one. The first one was so bad because I'm just not a stealth guy, and
Right,
it just
right. I suspect that.
and
was the
that's
joke.
why I was telling them. You notice the two I pointed out. You haven't played Valhalla, but you play Black Flag.
Yeah.
You don't have to be stealth in that. So I think they figured out, hey, that this doesn't work for everyone's play style. Let me give them another option. What do you think that controller's made out of?
Say that again.
What is that controller made out of? No, I kind of want one. That's why.
Dude, I saw a guy who made a coffee table shaped like a old school NES controller pad, complete with the buttons. That worked. He played the game on this coffee table of a controller. Wow, this is really impressive. The Greenville Drive have at least one alum on every team in the Major League playoffs.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Look at what I just sent you on Twitter.
Tag or message.
DM.
I would buy that shirt immediately.
Brandon Cutler's the one who tweeted it
Yeah.
out. That's
incredible.
That's pretty funny.
I think I would be thrilled if I was a wrestler to be in a spot like a Brandon Cutler where I'm like comic relief for one of the greats, you know? I think I'd be thrilled.
As long as you're not stuck there forever. As long as you can use it to
Yeah, like I'd want my own matches and stuff to perform. But I don't know, man. I think it'd be like that would be because you don't
right now he's one of the best parts of
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Absolutely. Like you get to have fun and not take it overly seriously, but still be part of what's
Even in the
happening at
promos
top.
when he starts to talk, they're like, shut up,
Yeah,
Brandon.
so good.
And who came up with it? Did he come up with it or did they come up with it? Did they approach him and him go, I don't know. You want me to do what?
Please fire Urban Meyer on wrestling. Are you saying you don't find this as funny as I do?
No, because every time I see Tony, I think of Shad's mustache, and it's just messing with me.
That's where Tony came from. He sprung fully formed as an
Yeah,
adult from Shad Khan's mustache, like the Greek gods of old.
It's a Nintendo mustache, or it's just yeah.
He's the next Sonic the Hedgehog supervillain. Wrestling Observer put up a tweet earlier that said Tony Khan to make huge announcement on AEW Dynamite, and a Jacksonville Jaguars fan account just tweeted out, please fire Urban Meyer on wrestling. What a line. What a line. Just fire him on the wrestling. Hey,
you know when wrestling follows storylines of things that are actually going on?
Yeah.
And will they do something with that? And
not a chance.
Would WWE do something with
No,
it?
even less. Even less.
Well, they've already kind of done that before.
I'll say this. Arguably my favorite wrestling moment of 2021 was in that Jericho MGA match when they fought into Herb's office and Herb threw a laptop to Jericho, who bashed MJF with it. And when they left the room, Herb went, holy bleep. And it was the best moment of the match. I'll give him that. The one moment I was like, oh, please don't make Urban Meyer likable.
And then you didn't know that Urban was hanging out with Jericho later at the club.
At the club. Here's a fun fact that just came across my Facebook account. Check this out. The Greenville Drive are represented. That's our team, Zoe. That's our team. The Greenville Drive have one alumni on every single team in the playoffs. How about that? At least one alumni, somebody who spent at least time in the Greenville Drive organization. The Red Sox, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, Matt Barnes, Christian Vasquez, Bobby Dahlbeck, Travis Shaw, Jaron Duran, Anthony Rizzo from the Yankees played here. I didn't know that. Rizzo played here. Rizzo played here back in 08-09, it looks like. Manuel Margot for the Rays, the White Sox, Makata and Kopech. The Astros had Ryan Presley. The Dodgers, Mookie Betts. I knew Mookie played here. John Lesnar and Andrew Miller, both in the Cardinals organization, did rehab assignments here in Greenville. Chris Martin from the Braves played here in 2011. Jackie Bradley Jr. and Hunter Strickland from the Milwaukee Brewers, both here. How about that, Zoe? Every team in Major League Baseball's postseason has at least one person on it who played on the Greenville Drive from a rehab assignment up to multiple seasons. That's good.
That's why you need to go to a Drive game, because you can say, yeah, I remember him back when.
Yeah.
When he was in Greenville.
Yeah, absolutely. I just got a text that says, what is on your shirt? It looks like a hand strangling a bird. Do you recognize this shirt, Lonzo? This show was probably a little bit after your time. You recognize this shirt?
It looks like a parrot of some sort.
It is a parrot. It is in particular a purple parrot. This would be a shirt worn by the team, the Purple Parrots, from the show Legends of the Hidden Temple,
which is coming back, by the way. It's I don't know if you've seen the trailers. They're out there now. The commercials are playing. It's going to. I didn't watch the original.
It's one of my favorite shows.
They're adults doing it now. So
one of my favorite shows. It was a geography and history trivia game on Nickelodeon back when I was like a kid. It's one of the many reasons, Lonzo, one of the many sources that you can blame for me being a haughty intellectual. It was a geography and history based quiz show played by 4 teams of kids. It started with like 6 teams, and you had a physical challenge to make it to the trivia round. And only 4 teams made it. And then only 2 teams made it out of that round. And then they had to go through another physical. And if you won the physical challenge, then you got to go into Olmec's temple to try to beat the temple guards in order to assemble the pieces of the monkey statue. And if you could get all the pieces away from the temple guard and put the monkey statue together, then you won the grand prize, which was always like, as a kid, it's like, oh my God, a new scooter. Let's go. Which nowadays you'd be like, I'll be at Walmart to buy the grand prize.
Scooter as in a Vespa, or a scooter as in
a scooter,
like
a scooter,
like self-propelled.
Yes, like a scooter. Anyway, this is a shirt.
If you were on the stream, you saw that.
This is a shirt from the Legends of the Hidden Temple show. Back in the day, I was always Team Purple Parrots, and I remain that way today. Purple Parrots till I die, son. We ride deep on the Purple Parrots. We wrap up the hour next back after this on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
If I recall, I learned about that show from another Brown. That would be Patrick Brown,
Yep.
who is a big time fan of the show also. Whoa. Could you ever do that?
Yeah, in high school I could.
How about that?
No, I can't read.
Because it's like this show sounds like, they just said, let's put together a nerd show, but let's put a physical challenge
This-
in just so we can laugh at them while they're trying to do a physical
I mean
challenge.
they were kids.
No, I get it, but at the same time, the show creators are like, yeah.
The Shrine of the Silver. Olmec was the big stone head temple god that talked to the kids, and he had the coolest.
Yeah, he
voice.
talks in the
Yeah.
commercials, in the new commercials. I'm wondering if the contestants are like contestants that were on it when they were kids. That'd be kind of cool.
Are they adult contestants in this?
Yeah, they look like 20 something.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like your typical, I don't know, almost like,
So, like,
Ninja Warrior type
Let's
stuff.
see what this episode
Be careful now.
is. Temple guard. And if you would want a physical challenge, then you had a little token that you could give to him, and he had to let you go. But this was always the craziest thing. If the temple guard caught one of the kids and they didn't have a pendant piece to give them to be let go, the guard would grab them and then just disappear behind the set. Oh, come on, you weakling. This kid's terrible at this game. And you could, you had to go through all those rooms, but you could go through in different orders, and some of the doors were locked, and you had to complete different challenges to do them, which this kid is clearly struggling. But that is 100% because he's on the red team, and the red team sucks. Red Jaguars. It was such a dumb game, and I loved it. I loved it.
So are you willing to watch the new one?
Hell
in the
yeah.
off chance that it might ruin it
Hell
for
yeah.
you.
I'll give it a shot. I can't imagine it's going to be terribly different. I'm just hoping that, like, if they make the games interesting that match the old ones, I'm 100% down.
I'm guessing the physical challenges will be
Yeah.
more with the it looked like there were athletes doing it. So
Maureen saved big shopping epic daily deals at Amazon. So now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. And with her brand new tableware, everyone's welcome at Maureen's table. All of her family, friends, even her neighbor with a pet. Hey, has anyone seen a ferret around here? Found it. Tune in to Amazon's epic daily deals. Spend less, smile more.
This report is sponsored by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy for free with DuckDuckGo. Your life, your hopes, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. It's really none of our business. And it shouldn't be anyone else's. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
All right, heading towards the end of hour number 1 here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Rob Alonzo and you, 844-GSP, ESPN. Texter says ESPN, the boys show is talking wrestling again. Yeah. Cool. Good take. Moving on.
should I hit the breaking news sounder? I mean,
Shocking to no one so far. Shocking to no one. Houston Texans still looking for a trade partner for Deshaun Watson. They may have to come down off their asking price. If Deshaun wasn't going through what he was going through, they would have already gotten their asking price. There's nobody that wants him now. According to a number of sources, including YahooSports.com and Mike Florio, there's only one team left remaining that have their eyes on Deshaun Watson, and that is the Miami Dolphins of right now. Jay Glazer of Fox Sports reiterated earlier this week that as of right now, he got asked the question, if Deshaun gets traded, will it be the Dolphins or someone else? And Glazer said that it is unlikely that there is someone else out there that is interested right now. Pro Football Talk right now says there's a lot of smoke, but no fire has been seen just yet, though it could come at any time. The Dolphins, after winning in week 1, have lost 3 in a row. The quarterback with whom they elected to pass up on Justin Herbert for, Tua Tagovailoa, is currently injured and was playing average football before that anyway. And we do know that Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, wants Watson. However, he has balked at the asking price so far. But Pro Football Talk, as well as Jay Glazer, have both said that considering the Dolphins expected to try to pick up some space in their division this year and have failed miserably to do so, there is belief that perhaps they may go ahead and just roll the dice. Remember, Deshaun Watson is not suspended right now, so if the Dolphins were to pick him up, he could be playing for them like now. Will they? No, maybe, but we'll see. We won't later on down the road because they're not going to. Hour number 1 in the books, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to be joined by John Harkes coming up at 1:20, head coach of your Greenville Triumph. We'll talk to him about the win last week, going on the road this week, and how you get your team prepared to finish the season. We'll also get into the NASCAR playoffs in just a little bit. We're heading to Charlotte this weekend, boys. The Roval is in play. All that more coming up on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
I can't find it on Twitter. The StreamYard. It must just be.
It's on my Twitter, not ESPN's.
I was trying to look on your Twitter. I didn't see it there either. But. I could be just, typing it in wrong. It's possible.
American League wildcard game yesterday. Red Sox over the Yankees 6-2. They advanced to an ALDS. National League wildcard game tonight.
On the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular.
So you can't like it or anything? It's weird.
Sports is supposed to be where we go to have a good time with everybody else. We disagree on politics, on religion, on worldviews of every type, but we all come together to love football together. The show is supposed to be your break, for real. You walk out and sit in the break room and knock down your microwave pizza for lunch before you got to go back on the clock, do whatever you got to do. Lonzo and I want you to laugh at sentences like, those guys might lose a groin, all right? We're just having fun. That's the point. That's what we do. That's what the show is. That's how the show is structured from the beginning. That's how the show remains today. That's how the show's going to stay into the foreseeable future. So, to the texter who say, you're too much, you're obnoxious, you're over the top, I will acknowledge to you that for many people, I absolutely am. And that's okay.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. That's the Rob Brown Show. Weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
So every time I hear Over the Top, I think the movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone, and I want
the arm wrestling movie, right?
Yes, and I want to sing Meet me halfway across the sky from Kenny Loggins.
That's a great joke.
It combines NASCAR and country. I just,
Two of your favorite things,
yeah,
huh?
I just, sorry.
Yeah, baby. I like it live. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show's right here on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate 97.7 FM, Greenville 97.1 FM, Spartanburg, all around the world on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Put it on all your digital devices, your cell phones, your laptops, your tablets, your PCs, whatever it is that you use to get work done. And you just push play. And you can listen to the Rob Brown Show with Rob and Lonzo live from noon to 3 Eastern every single day. You can listen to Offsides with Mark Ryan and D.
Sound like a good spot to do that. The Chicago Bears have named Justin Fields their starting quarterback going forward.
Going forward.
Yes.
Going forward. So well, not like permanently, but like permanently unless something bad happens.
Well, until this point, the coaches said it's Andy's team once he gets better, but apparently no longer. That's according to Bleacher Report.
Interesting. The right call. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right call or not.
I think he's shown signs of growth, and I think he's elusive enough that he may not, die the season from the lack of offensive line, and you got a better shot. What it comes down to, I know you got to worry about your future, but you got a better shot of winning with Justin Fields out there playing quarterback than you do Andy Dalton.
Mark Ryan has a really interesting take that he comes out with on his show sometimes, and he's been using it predominantly about South Carolina, right? And when do you start making the switch from guys that are ready to win now to guys that are the future, right? Like when do you make that switch over? And he's used it predominantly in the phone conversations with guys who have called in to debate whether Zeb Nolan should go back under center for South Carolina, or should you ride it out with Luke Doty, who is completing 58.8% in conference play. And yesterday he had a call from a guy who said, look, South Carolina's got Tennessee. Is it a must win? I think yes. I think it was a should win, like to win, not a must win if they would have beat Kentucky. But it turns out Kentucky maybe not as bad as we thought. Yes, Florida on the hangover game. Kentucky gets them. So we had a guy call in yesterday on Offsides who said, I think you got to go back to Zeb. He's the most, he's the quarterback that is most ready to win this football game against Tennessee. And first off, I don't really know if that's true, because I got to tell you, that last game that Zeb played before they made the switch, not thoroughly impressed with him, right? Until he got injured, had to go to Doty in the Georgia game, which I don't think they wanted to do. I think they wanted to keep him healthy through that Georgia game and then bring him back against Kentucky, which kind of happened-ish. Anyway, Mark said, and I actually like this take. I like this take, which is something I've said like 3 times in my entire knowing of Mark. Mark said, there has to come a point somewhere where you go, this guy can help me win now, but he's leaving. And this guy is the guy that maybe can't help us win now, but can help us win down the line. So you make the switch. You have a better chance of putting Zeb. I don't agree with this aspect of it, but for argument's sake, you have a better chance of putting Zeb Nolan on the field and beating Tennessee than you do Luke Doty. But Zeb Nolan, graduate assistant, leaves at the end of this year. Luke Doty is a sophomore. You got him for at least 1, probably 2 more seasons. So what's more important? Lonzo, Do you put the emphasis, if you are South Carolina, do you put the emphasis on putting the better quarterback on the field to win this game against Tennessee to try to strive for that 6-6 mark, or do you take the guy who's your quarterback for at least one more year, probably, and Luke Doty, maybe 2, put him on the field, let him get some away SEC tough environment experience? Because the Tennessee fans, after dropping 60 on Mizzou last week, Neyland is going to be shaking on Saturday, all right? This might be the loudest away game that South Carolina plays this year because the Tennessee fans are feeling themselves. So what's more important, though, the guy that can help you win this game and is more ready to win this game, or putting a guy like Doty out there to let him get experience in a situation like this for the next 2 years running?
It depends on, and this, I think this goes for whatever level of whatever sport, what your expectations of this year are. If your expectations were to probably go 500 and maybe make a bowl, then you stick with your future. Zeb Nolan, he was not that good when he was in there. He was not. And you got to go with Doty. I think it goes that way with just about any sport. I mean, we're talking about Justin Fields, same with him. Just put him in there. The experienced guy, Zeb Nolan, experience. There's a reason why he wasn't starting wherever he was. If you put him back in, what you're saying is the guy who we brought in to be our future is not our future, because we're going to put in a guy who was not a future anywhere he was. You just can't do that. Once Doty's in there, he's got to stay in there. And I think Doty's biggest problems is he's got happy feet. And I think you got to learn how to calm him down. You got to lean on the running game early. Get him some early completions. This happens with a lot of quarterbacks. Get him some early completions, get him some confidence, and he'll be fine. But you put Zeb Nolan in there, then you've hurt this kid mentally because you've said, hey, you're just not ready yet.
And that's a great part of the argument, right? That's a great part of the argument. It's not just about letting him get in-game experience, but it's also about building up Buttercup to get him ready for next year's season. That's absolutely a good part of it, right? Is that a bit? So when we switch this conversation back to where we started, which is Justin Fields, nobody believes, with the exception of probably Andy Dalton, nobody believes that Andy Dalton is the guy that brings you to the bowl, right? Nobody thinks Andy Dalton is bringing Chicago to the Super Bowl. I think Andy Dalton can be like I'm trying to think of who. It'd be like a Brad Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Johnson, Super Bowl winner. He's a Brad Johnson. He's a guy that wins the Super Bowl. And because here's the thing. We have forgotten a lot of quarterbacks who have won one Super Bowl. We will never stop talking about the fact that Brad freaking Johnson won a Super Bowl, right? So, Andy Dalton could be a Brad Johnson. If you built a good enough team around him, he is good enough to get you there if the defense and the run game can carry him because they are elite, BB elite. That's what Andy Dalton is.
What's the difference between this year and last year for Dallas?
Dallas was a poorly run offense, and Zeke Elliott was the invisible man.
The main difference is no Dak Prescott, and Andy Dalton was the quarterback. So you looked at you looked at Andy Dalton in Dallas and went, okay, let's bring him over to be our leader. No, you didn't. You brought him over to be a placeholder for the guy you knew that you were going to bring in. You've already brought him in. You put him in. And, yeah, you're going to have some downside with him, but the upside is so much greater than that downside. You just got to leave him in there, and that's what they're doing.
In recent years, Andy Dalton has more wins than the Chicago Bears as an organization during his time as a starter in the National Football League. That was coming into the season.
Does that include last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
He also, here, I'll flip the coin for you. Andy Dalton, Lonzo, through his NFL career coming into this year, has lost 66 games. The Chicago Bears have lost 89 in the same time period. All right. The Bears have been to the playoffs twice since 2011. Dalton, took the Bengals to the playoffs for 5 straight. The Bengals, Lonzo, for 5
By
straight
the way,
seasons.
I have been a defender of Andy Dalton for years,
As you should be.
including on the other show for a couple years. But he has taken a few steps back. He's not nearly as good as he was, not as consistent as he was. And when it comes down to it, when you see a guy at the end of his career and a guy at the beginning of his career, you've got to decide, is it time to end that guy's career and begin this guy's? And it's about butts and seats. It's also about potential. And I think the potential for wins is much greater with Justin Fields. I do think it's funny, though, that the big time sports media, Justin Fields needs to play. And then he got in there and he didn't play well. And those same guys, well, there was a mistake.
What a mistake.
Yeah.
Here is one thing, though. One thing I really do feel bad about. This guy has been the head coach since 2017. He was the one who started the Mitchell Trubisky experiment. Didn't work. He was the guy that tried to rescue Mike Glennon. Didn't work. He was a guy who tried to see if Chase Daniel, who had been a career backup to that point, spent a lot of time down in New Orleans behind Drew Brees, maybe he was ready for the spot. Didn't work. He's a guy that brought in Nick Foles because, hey, Foles had got a Super Bowl, son. Bring him in. Let's see what Nick Foles. Didn't work. He's got Andy Dalton, who got injured. It's not Andy Dalton's fault. I'm not saying he didn't work yet, but we'll see. He's got Justin Fields. Do you believe?
Do you remember the quarterbacks that Belichick had before Tom Brady came in? I mean, I know Drew Bledsoe,
Yeah.
but I, these coaches can get it wrong till they get it right. And sometimes they get it right.
Let's see. You had Drew Bledsoe. The Drew Bledsoe played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons as a starting quarterback for the Patriots before Tom Brady showed up.
No, under Belichick though.
When did Belichick take over? Also, spell Belichick's name without messing it up, Lonzo.
Bellichick.
Nope.
It's Belichick. I know, but I had too many L's probably.
Bellichick.
Yeah. Okay.
He took over the Patriots in 2000. 2000? Was that it?
He wasn't there very long. He messed up in Cleveland.
Yeah. He was with the Jets, right? He was the head coach of the Jets twice, but never actually coached a game. I think it was something weird. And then he got 2000. God, what does it feel like he's been there since like 1984? Probably because he's 90.
How he talks probably does that. My point is that coaches can get it wrong a ton. The right guy comes along and suddenly people forget about all the things that they did wrong. I'm not saying Justin Fields is that guy for Nagy, but he could be.
We'll see. Here's the thing. There's a lot of pressure on getting that right? A lot of pressure getting on that right. In order to take Justin Fields, they made some moves. There were some question marks. We're going to find out the direction that goes. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP, ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. Let's take a quick break. When we come back here in just a minute, we will be joined by the head coach of your Greenville Triumph. He is Coach John Harkes, and he's up next on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
QC Kinetics. Just do it.
Yeah, that's fine. Let me tell you about my friends at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics wants you to be able to live your life without fear. Listen, about, 3-4 weeks ago, I got out and decided to run around and kick a soccer ball around a little bit. Speaking of Coach Harkes, got out there, started kicking a soccer ball around a little bit, and I woke up the next day. And the left knee, that's my plant leg, right? It's where I generate all of that absolute brutal power that comes in my shot. I'm saying this, and Coach needs a little long midfield action next year. Anyway, the plant knee just it hurt, and that is exactly why we've partnered with QC Kinetics, because I want to be able to go out and play soccer and not be afraid of the fact that I'm going to wake up the next day and my knee's going to hurt because my bones and my parts that ain't supposed to touch is touching and creating that inflammation and that pain that comes along with it. You don't want to have to live in fear of just living your life day to day. And you don't have to. With QC Kinetics, you will get that non-surgical regenerative therapy. They don't have to slice you, dice you, cut you open. They're simply going to go in. You're going to get the rehab, the treatment. It's going to be right there, inpatient. You're going to meet Dr. Richard Schaefer, MD. He's going to explain the process to you. He's going to get you all set up and taken care of. And then you're on your way. And then the same day, you just go back to your regular life. It's that simple. But call them. 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show and get that free consultation today, or check them out online at qckinetics.com, qckinetix.com, QC Kinetics, right here in the upstate.
All right. Don't normally do this, but the Carolina Panthers have picked up Stephon Gilmore.
Really?
All right. Now we can go to break.
Did they really?
Yes.
That was quick.
The Panthers tweeted it out.
How about that? Or it's the greatest troll hackable.
Yes. 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Tonight on CBS, CSI, the global phenomenon, opens a brand new chapter in Las Vegas. It's a new team of crime scene investigators. Preserving justice in Sin City. Look at the evidence. CSI Vegas. Series premiere tonight, 10 on Central on CBS. Then, a 7 News investigation.
Something that everyone's starting across the country doing.
Local law enforcement facing a critical shortage of applicants.
They're not even applying. We live in a world where we've got money.
7 News anchor Gordon Dill sits down with sheriffs in the upstate about understaffed police forces causing safety concerns in our communities.
Is it to the point where staffing is starting to affect public safety?
A 7 News investigation tonight on 7 News at 11, right after the big news.
They actually traded for him.
Who'd they trade?
6th-round pick.
Oh, hell yeah. Are you kidding me?
Not even. It's a 2023 6th-round pick. So it's not even next year's 6th round.
He played at USC, didn't he?
Yep. Wait for Spurrier. I was there with Garcia. They both wore number 5.
Hey, buddy. Stephon Gilmore just got picked up by the Panthers.
No way.
That's
Yes.
huge. Literally just happened. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, nope. They just sixth round pick for him. 6th round.
2023 6th-round pick.
Yeah, he can play.
No, but I mean,
Week 6. He's on PUP. He can come off week 6.
fellas, this is Justin. He's going to sit
Justin,
in
great
and
to meet you,
serve.
buddy.
Hey, come back. Yeah, sit down, Chase.
Potential producer. He's in there to sit in and watch.
Love
and
it. Welcome, buddy.
Sure.
All right, let's talk a little football, shall we? I'm talking the kind that involves your ball in your actual foot. That would be footy. That would be soccer, as we call it here in the States. And right down the road from us, they play their home games at Legacy Early College. They are the reigning, defending, undisputed USL League One champions, and this is the man leading them into the playoffs yet again, my man, the head coach of your Greenville Triumph, Coach John Harkes, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Coach, good to have you back, big dog. How we doing?
We're doing well. Thank you so much. Great to be on. How are you?
Always, man. I'm living the dream. Still got 10 days till the next home match, so just a little bit of withdrawals for me, but everything is good. Coach, let's talk about mentality heading towards the end of the season. You guys are in the top half of teams in the playoff race in on the table right now, but there's a lot of teams that are all kind of stacked up and anything can get jostled any given weekend. What is the mentality for you, and what mentality do you try to instill in the guys when you've only got a couple of games left and the race is this tight?
I think the number one thing is, the guys, very proud of them. They're playing awesome. I mean, the guys are competing, they fight. We're always looking, through training sessions, video sessions, whether it be individually or collectively within the team, just ways of keeping the lines of communication open and keeping things simple right now. It's really important that, when there's pressure, guys add pressure to themselves, and I've got to be, and our staff has to be really attentive to that, to make sure that they don't overanalyze things. We have to recognize that, and, they have the ability to play hard, but simplify the game as best as you can, play to your strengths. And, we did really well last game against Fort Lauderdale. We could have been 2 or 3-0 up already in the first 14 minutes with the creative chances. We talked about, being more of a threat in the final third, and the guys showed up and did that. Now, we won 1-0 in the last game, but it's still that 3 points. The mental attitude and the attacking mindset was there all night. We were just unlucky not to put more goals in the back of the net, but the guys did well. The guys did really well. So as we go away to Omaha, difficult game up ahead. They're playing extraordinarily well at the top of the table right now, and so we got a fight on our hands. But I trust our guys, and they have to trust each other. So it'll be a challenge, but what we're showing already is the resilience, and we're up for that challenge.
John Harkes, head coach of the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Coach, when you have a game like that where you do see the chances developing and they're just not finding the net, when you clearly are working the offense well, but you just can't get it into the goal, what does that do to the mentality of players on the field, and how do you respond to make sure that there is no slowdown and no let up, because law of averages says you're going to start scoring eventually?
Yeah, I think it's just it's those trigger moments. Like you can see that the anxiety starts to kick in for them certain times in the game, whether it be 38th minute, 42nd minute, just before halftime, where maybe they think we should have had more goals and they get a little frustrated, so they start pushing it a little bit too hard and they lose that patience. So it's just more about keeping the organization as a team, making sure that the communication's open, and just reassuring them that they're doing the right things, out in the field, and keeping that confidence high. So if we can take that, like I said earlier, that pressure off of them, then they can just play freely. And that's what we want, because when they play freely, that's when you see the best of them. So last week's game was fantastic. They played really well.
A 1-0 win, a Fort Lauderdale own goal in the final minutes of that match last Friday night. The undefeated streak stretches now to 5 matches. Coach, when you had earlier in the season, we had you on, we talked about that, there was a month and a half long period or so where the play was there, but the results just weren't coming. And I think it happens to even the best teams. Even the 96 Bulls had stretches where they lost a handful of games. But when you look back at that point and you look at where you are now, no L's in 5 straight games, a big break at the end of that to get the extra time winner. What do you think, if there is a difference, what was the difference between what was happening then and what's happening right now, picking up momentum heading into the playoffs?
I think just being able to navigate through that difficult time, it taught a lot, to the guys about themselves, and not allowing the negativity to build up. And it doesn't mean that, it's all rainbows and butterflies, but it's more about how do we get that across to the guys in the right way, where, okay, recognize moments that we're not doing well, or we're not finishing, or there's certain ways of, in a game model, the way we adapt in that, in that periodization process is like, what we train, we want to apply in the game. And I think that was missing a little bit at times. And, we started to recognize that right away. And we saw even in our transitional play, how we attack and then lose the ball. Can we quickly get the ball back and press a little bit more? And I think we started to do that a lot better too, as we came out of that funk we were in. And the basic principles were still there. It was just more or less having the confidence to fight through that, because, when you fight through things, that means that you're learning, and you're growing as a team. And I think we've grown a lot over the last maybe 2 months. And now we're at a point, like you said, Rob, a good point about, going undefeated through the whole month of September in difficult stretches, difficult games, and a lot of adversity thrown at us. So the guys came through it, and that's fantastic. 3 wins, 2 draws. You take 11 points out of a possible 15. That's fantastic. So happy for the guys. They've done a great job. Staff is working hard here on the technical side, without a doubt. And, we just want to let them play as best as we can. But it's our job to prepare them in the right way and set them up for success. So we're working hard. We got to keep on doing that. And hopefully, as we move forward, we start to see that success come with the guys, the way they're applying themselves on the field.
John Harkes, head coach of your Greenville Triumph, the reigning defending undisputed USL League One champions. Coach, you got 4 games left. You started with a roadie this weekend versus Union Omaha in what has become, at least on the social media side of things, quite a fun little rivalry between you guys and Union Omaha. When you look at the table, Omaha 6 points up on the table. How big would a win on the road at Union Omaha be for the mentality of this team coming back for a 2-game homestand against Chattanooga, who is next above you on the table right now?
Yeah, look, the wins help. I mean, they make a positive impact, in the way that we go forward and stuff. We look at the games one at a time, and certainly it'll be a difficult challenge for us going out there. But, hopefully we can pick up points, and that's what we want to do. That's always the plan. The plan is to win the games. And, if we can do that, then it sets us up for 2 home games, like you say. But look, if it doesn't go according to plan, there's still ways of coming back here and getting a win in back-to-back games, and then going away to North Carolina SC in the last game of the season on October 30th, and seeing if we can challenge for another 3 points. So every time we go into it, it's a chance for us to grow, in the game. Just like we talk about our club, how much we have opportunities to grow in Greenville, South Carolina, and the upstate. We always want to make sure that we are connecting. We're a special club. We have a great atmosphere here. We have a great culture here. And, we want to make sure we make a positive impact in the community as well. So we're doing that. It's not just about the wins and loss columns. It's about growing the game here. So we'll keep on believing in that and believing in each other as we push through.
John Harkes, head coach of your Greenville Triumph, and 1 or 2 more, coach. And we'll turn you loose because I know you got a lot of prep to get ready to go on the road. As a coach, how do you address this last run to your team? Is there any difference to you in the way that you train, in the way that you analyze, in the way that you prepare? Is there anything you do different when you're coming down the stretch and everybody's jockeying for playoff positioning, where home field may come into play later on in the playoffs? Is there anything you do different, or is it, hey, let's just go out there and approach it like we do all week and trust the process?
I think it's trust the process. I think if you start to try to reinvent yourself, it can lead to confusion. I think, consistency in the way we approach things, our shape, our discipline, our movement, our possession with a purpose, everything that we do, we're trying to bring a purpose to. And, if we can just continue to be, do our work, do our jobs, and be detail oriented about it. Make sure we have clear communication with the guys. They understand what's expected, and now it's up to them emotionally to kind of bring it to the game, bring it to the field, and we're starting to see how much they love that. So it's been good. We want to continue to keep doing what we're doing right now.
John Harkes, head coach of your Greenville Triumph. They will be on the road this weekend against Union Omaha. Then they come back home for a couple Saturday, October 16th against New England Revolution 2. Then again, the 23rd to take on Chattanooga Red Wolves, both at Legacy early. They end the year on October 30th at North Carolina FC. 4 matches left, and then it's playoff time. Coach, my man, great to talk to you. I appreciate the time as always. Let's go get some golf in soon, big dog.
I would love to, man. I really look forward to seeing you on the golf course, but also at our stadium, and a lot of fans. We need a lot of fans for the next 2 home games coming out, supporting the Greenville Triumph and just making sure we connect the community there. So looking forward to that.
Love to hear
Great
it.
to talk to you as always.
My pleasure, Coach. The Rob Brown Show fan club will be there in mass. Thank you very much, John Harkes. And again, as always, thanks to Doug Irwin, the CBO, Chris Lewis, the president, Joe, the owner, everybody over at the Triumph have made this so easy, so simple to not just have these interviews, but keep you guys connected with the hometown club. By the way, while we're on it, Lonzo, got an opportunity yesterday to talk to Tim Vieira, who's a buddy of mine off the air, but he's also the vice president of your Greenville Swamp Rabbit hockey team. They are 10 days away from opening the hockey season at the Bon Secours Wellness Center. It's hockey season, big dog. And starting the week before, so actually next week, as a matter of fact, starting next week on Thursdays at 1:30, we'll go down the rabbit hole and we will do the same update we're doing with the Triumph. We'll be doing with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. So we will have Wednesday Triumph through the playoffs until we win another USL League One championship. And then on Thursdays, we'll rotate into going down the rabbit hole with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, where we'll have Coach Andrew Lord and Tim, the Tim Vieira, the vice president, Mark Shelley, who's their new play-by-play guy, players, assistant coaches, staffers, all hockey season long. Because, though, there is nobody who does more with our local sports clubs than us. You're welcome.
Absolutely. And I just remembered that you and I were supposed to take a photo. Speaking of the Swamp Rabbits.
If only I would have had that conversation and started working on a date to do that yesterday.
Yeah,
I
I was curious as to when that's going to happen.
Head scratch. Head scratch. And gosh, Lonzo, they may or may not have laid ice down at the Bon Secours Wellness Center last week.
That would be what we were waiting for.
Correct. Quick break. We're back after this. Rob Lonzo, you. It's ESPN Upstate. I yell. I'm sorry in advance. I'm very loud.
Hey.
I know that. I'm sure Hendrix did not warn you.
No, yeah, off record.
By the way, you can scoot in a little bit closer.
I didn't want to intrude or anything.
Well, you are here to observe.
I feel intruded upon. Sir, please step back.
We're not talking about an Urban Meyer kind of intrusion, so we're good.
That was not an intrusion. That was an invitation. Those are very different.
There's a deep drive out the left.
By Castellanos.
And that will be a home run.
God, that's the best copy pasta MLB's provided in years.
And that will make it a 4-0 ball game.
What a moment. What a moment.
I'm sorry. That's funny. But yeah, I saw you working fast and furious over here.
All right, so the guy who's normally the producer for the next show is on vacation. And because we're shorthanded, it's one of the reasons why you're in here. Rob is actually going to be producing the show. So I set up all the breaks for him, put in the ins and outs and things like that. Because we help each other. It's what we do.
Most of us.
Yeah.
I will say this, Rob. At least you don't yell out that high school kid blew it.
Oh, I didn't tell you. Did you hear the whole The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Thanks again to the Greenville Triumph and head coach John Harkes for joining us right here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Again, we, one of the things that we strive to do here on the show, besides win trophies for Best Sports Talk Radio Show in the state of South Carolina, thank you very much. One of the things we try to do is to keep you guys connected with your local teams. We try to keep you connected with your local teams. We try to keep you connected with the Greenville Drive, with the Greenville Triumph, with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. We try to connect you with the Spartanburgers, who, by the way, had a conversation on Twitter about the Spartanburgers yesterday. We're catching them up, man. We're catching them up. But we try to keep you connected to your local teams. We try to keep you connected.
I just want to say the best first pitch of all time, Rob Brown.
Better Conor McGregor's.
Well, it's not really hard to do better than. But
Yeah,
it's
just throw it in the right direction, and it'll be better than.
So
Conor
when
McGregor.
baseball season rolls back around, Spartanburgers comes back, you might have a chance to spot Rob Brown there.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'll be at a lot of games next year. Not even throwing first pitches. I believe the phrase, Lenz, is bats, beer, beef, baseball.
And you never know. You might get to see an introvert leading YMCA again.
You might, wearing a chef's hat because reasons. God, I love the Spartanburgers.
I rocked that chef's hat.
You did. But with all that being said, for the record, we want to make sure that you guys are connected to everything that is going on with the local sports scene as well as the national sports scene, which is why I've gotten involved with every one of those teams, and I'm happy to do it. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and Panthers fans. Is this worth hitting the glass again, Lonzo? I don't know. Is it? I mean, I'm going to let you make the call. You're the executive producer of the entire radio station. Is this worth hitting the glass again?
Well, we already broke it once, but let's break it again.
Break it! Ladies and gentlemen, in return for a 2023 sixth round pick, former New England Patriots cornerback Stephon Gilmore is now a Carolina Panther. A week and a half after losing J.C. Horn to the... Oh, what an injury. What an injury. Just backpedaling, and his foot just broke. That is the second dumbest injury in the last 2 weeks. What's the dumbest? J.D. Martinez jogging to second base, tripping over second base, and spraining his ankle. The most Rob Brown sports injury of all time. J.D. Martinez sprains an ankle by tripping over a base. Hey, happens to the best of us, right? Happens to the best of us. Literally never. J.C. Horn goes down with a busted foot. The Panthers' defensive backfield takes a shot. All right. And it's not a bad defensive backfield, but it takes a shot. And all of a sudden, what do? Go add a former Gamecock, a guy who has been a staple in New England when he was able to play. He is on the PUP list, all right? The physically unable to perform list. He is on the PUP list. So he is not eligible until week 6. Week 6. I almost said 6, and then I wanted to switch to 7, but then I remember.
No, you say it.
6 round. He ain't good to go till round 6, but when he don't gonna be back round week 7, y'all.
There you go.
Week 7. SEBEN, Sib. Anyway,
I think the question is, had his play diminished in such a way that he's not going to be an asset to the team before he got hurt? And I don't think it had. It's if he would have been traded or cut by any other team, you would think that maybe that has something to do with it. But Belichick does this stuff all the time.
So Belichick loves stacking draft picks, right? Loves stacking draft picks. Which, here's the thing. Tell you a secret. That's why Tom Brady left. That's why Tom Brady wanted out. Because Tom Brady was sitting there at 39 years of age, 38 years of age, and went, yo, hold up, wait a minute, don't stop. Hold up. I'm 39 years old, y'all. I'm a man. I'm 40.
By the way, I yelled that out the window coming down Miller Road every day when people are doing 35 and it's 40. It's funny to me every time.
I'm a man. I'm 40. Doesn't make you laugh. We're not friends. Anyway, Brady's sitting there. He's going, dude, I'm a man. I'm 40. Y'all are giving me 34-year-old Julian Edelman as my number one wide receiver. Cool story, bro. Cool story. You got 38 draft picks in the storage cabinet back there. Make a trade and get me a damn wide receiver, and they wouldn't do it. Deuces. Later. So he's in Tampa. Hey, what happened in Tampa? Got some pretty good wide receivers down there with the Buccaneers, don't he? Could have kept him. I think that's the number one reason he went it out. That's another story for another time. He loves stocking draft picks. But here's the big thing. Gilmore just couldn't come to a deal with the Panthers. I think to some degree he wanted to stay there, but they've been in contract negotiations for like a number of weeks now, and they just couldn't come to an agreement. So later, he splits. Well, he doesn't split. He is splitted. He is the splitted, not the splittee. No, the splittee is the splittee, not the splitter. Anyway, the Patriots say 6th rounder in 2023. Carolina, he's all yours. He's on the PUP list. He can come back after week 6, so week 7. So 2 weeks from now. So not this weekend, but the weekend. Nope, not next 2 weeks, week after that. Point is, they needed some help back there, especially now when J.C. Horn comes back. You pair these two guys on both sides. You give me another safety back there. Holy smokes. Texter says, ESPN, if the Panthers can sign Jalen Smith, you might as well hand them the Lombardi because you can't score on that.
Dak was kind of, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. No, continue that.
Yeah, Dak kind of scored on that, unfortunately.
Zeke probably could have had $125 in that game, but they kind of had they kind of were able to pull up early. All right. And take some work off of them.
Panthers are ahead of schedule. Calm down.
Thank you.
But they're not there yet. They're not.
Even with this signing, they're not there yet.
Right. Next year, when you get J.C. Horn back from injury, when Stephon Gilmore's healthy, Sam Darnold has another year in the program and gets comfortable and realizes he's not going to die.
You can draft 13 to 15 offensive linemen to find 2 that work. Step 1. I'm not dogging the pickup. It's a great pickup. It's a great pickup. But Texter says might as well hand them the Lombardi. Ooh.
Fandom's a great thing.
Till it's not.
And you could, well, you may not be able to speak to this. I hear day drinking is a thing.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what mimosas are for. Because if I'm sitting on the side of the road pounding a bourbon at 11 in the morning, I get judged. But if I'm sitting on the side of the road drinking a mimosa, it's brunch.
And then you say things like, hand them the trophy.
USA. Let's take a break. We're back after this to wrap up hour 2 on the Rob Brown Show. God, I am an idiot. It's ESPN Upstate. Take it over. Welcome back to Rob Brown Show, wrapping up our numero dos. Rob Alonzo, U844-GSP, ESPN 844-477-3776 is the number. Last night, the Boston Red Sox.
So we got a problem here. I don't know if you need medical attention or what. Since you've come back from Boston, that accent, it's like your go-to. Do people really talk that way in Boston?
Wicked smat.
Is it a stereotype or is it real?
I don't know how to answer that. There was a percentage of people I talked to that had the accent, and then a large percent I did. I suspect that is because Boston, I didn't know this. Boston is the 24th most populous city in the entire United States. It's like 4.8 million people or
so
something.
You have a lot of you have a lot of
bingo.
Yeah. Okay.
You got so here when I was at the when we were at the Red Sox Yankees game last Sunday, the lady to the right of us, because I'm that dude, like I make friends with the entire damn section,
which is very annoying, by the way. But go ahead.
Wet blanket. So I'm talking to the lady to the right of me. She originally is from New Orleans, but has lived in Boston for like 38 years. Was talking to the young couple that was in front of us. They were from New Jersey, and they just moved to Boston like 10 years ago, but have been there like 10 years.
Speaking of Jersey, that is not a stereotype. Spent some time in Jersey when my granddaughter was born. Everyone, hey. We would go. They would just be going back and forth. It was like an SNL skit.
Bro, GTL, bro. Gym, tan, laundry, bro. Then we go down to the shore, bro.
It's real. It's real. So you were saying
there were a few people that we met in the group that had the Boston accent. I heard in fact when we got there, there was a guy taking tickets at Fenway Park. And there was like 3 people in front of us in the ticket line. Because I told you, like, it's interesting at Fenway Park that you don't give your ticket to go into the stadium. You give your ticket to go onto the streets next to the stadium. And then you just walk the 3 streets around the stadium. And then the gates to Fenway Park are just open. You just walk in like you've already given your ticket. Anyway, as the guy ahead of me, like, he's scanning the tickets 3 ahead of me. And he tells the ladies walking, he's like, all right, welcome to Fenway Park. I'm like, tells the guy ahead of me, welcome to Fenway Park. And I'm like, oh my God, please say it to me. Please say it to me. And I got, enjoy the game. No! I wanted welcome to Fenway Park. So I did hear it. Here's the one time that I heard it the loudest. And it makes sense that this is where I heard the Boston accent the loudest. We're in the section, right field grandstands, about 10 feet past and 30 rows up from the right field flagpole in the bottom section. And this guy walks up and he's in a Yankees jersey and he's walking up the stands. And as he's coming up, I think Giancarlo Stanton got a single or something. And he looks back at the Red Sox fans. And I don't want to say this would never happen to the South, because there are teams, there are rivalries that would, but not often. This guy just turns and he just flips the bird to the entire section. I moved my hands way out here for a reason. So flips the bird to the entire section. And what do they start doing? Bleep the Yankees. And the loudest time I ever heard the accent was the Boston accent coming through on the F word in the chant, F word, the Yankees, clap, 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 clap. And it was loud. Loud. Last night we were watching the game, and I'm talking to some friends, and I'm like, you know what's crazy about this? If you listen to that game, there's not a ton of ambient crowd noise coming from the crowd while the play's happening. And I'm like, I know why now.
So they turn the crowd mic on.
Yeah, it's because every third section at some point during the game is going, beep the Yankees. It's every 3 sections, every 3 minutes, there's a section of the ballpark chanting bleep the Yankees. And that is the one time I heard it because the F word, I can't say it on the air. I wish I could because, like, when you hear the F word with the Boston accent, it is hilarious. But they are just getting after it. And that is the most prominent of the bad. Here's what I didn't hear. The whole time I was in Boston, 3 days I'm in Boston, I didn't hear a single person say wicked smat. I didn't hear a single person say wicked pissa. And I didn't hear a single person say, how about dem apples, which infuriated me. Back after this, we got another hour left to go, and it's all sports the rest of the way, except for the segment or two it's not. He's Lonzo, the great one, the pinnacle of professionalism. I am Rob Brown. We are the best sports talk radio show in South Carolina, as awarded by the South Carolina Broadcasters Association. We are the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right, we've angered someone who I guess is from Jersey. I don't know. On the stream.
Only Scubby City, Jersey. Joycey residents sound like that. Not country. There is country New Jersey. Adam, what is country New Jersey like? I need to know.
I was about to say, how do you make the stream kind of go?
Country Jersey. Like Jason Aldean, but like with spiked hair.
Maybe. All I know about Jersey is you can't turn left there, and it's just weird. Northwest. I'll have to tell him when he gets back in the room. All right, so I stopped that podcast, and I am because you can open up multiple windows of Cool Edit. We also have Adobe. I don't know. We have the most advanced Adobe. It's not in all rooms because of licensing, but you will have Cool Edit in all rooms. And I find that a lot of people are like, I can do Adobe, but I can't do Cool Edit, which makes no sense because it works the same way. Adobe is more advanced in a lot of things you can do. Cool Edit is just a simple version of it.
Yeah, I guess it's just familiarity. It's like
right. Well, I've been using this. Yeah. I've been here for over 21 years. And I've been using this the entire time. And there are some guys that I do embrace new technology, but if I don't have to use it, I'm going to use with whatever I can go quickest with. And that would be this right now.
Yeah, I'm familiar with like Adobe 3O, that kind of thing. That's what I use to edit my interviews for what I do with high school games. That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm open to learning new stuff, you know.
This is more like learning old stuff, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it'll be new to me.
I think most editing, if it's pretty similar. I mean, even down to the effects and things like that, because I can use Adobe, but sometimes I think it's overcomplicated just to be overcomplicated. But there are some things I can't do with Cool Edit that I have to do with Adobe. Did you see Adam said simply look up Changewater murder? My hometown has some good history. So it's like the Greenville Mountains and farms. They have those in Jersey.
Simply look up Changewater murder. Okay, I'm literally going to do that right now.
Yeah, the Upward Center property just got put up for sale over there in Spartanburg.
Let's get it, y'all. The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show's right here on the radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello to you, and how do you do, South Carolina, and everybody else in the world via the Odyssey app. By the way, the week before I left on vacation, I think I said this on air. I got not an email. I got a tweet the Thursday-ish day before I left on vacation. Lonzo, from a gentleman who texted or who tweeted me and said that he was listening in Germany. He was a military member, Air Force guy.
Hey, Guten Tag.
Oktoberfest in the South. He was listening in Germany, where he was working night shift on an Air Force base over there. Because it's like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night at Germany right now. Anyway, he said he was listening in Germany, which means, Lonzo, that we theoretically are international now. We're international, baby.
Now, if we can just be otherworldly or interdimensionally.
Dear NASA.
Hey, if Shatner can go up, you know.
They are sending Shatner to space.
They are. Would you do that?
Hell yeah.
Especially if you got the broadcast.
Hell yeah. I said, in fact, I said on Twitter the other day, I would give away, and I mean this is not even a joke. I would give away everything I own to do a spacewalk. If NASA would send me up and let me do a spacewalk, I would give away everything I own to do it. Dead serious. That is if there's a bucket list, be like an unrealistic bucket list. Number one on my list is do a spacewalk.
Yeah, I wanted to be an astronaut as a kid, and then I found that I don't like heights very much. So it's kind of hard to do that.
That's a bad reason to yeah. I wanted to be an astronaut as a kid, and I actually started looking into it. And I put a lot of research into it and started, I was like I did like space camp and all that. I wanted to do it. And then I found out sometime around my junior year of high school that I actually had a condition that would prevent me from being an astronaut, Lonzo. It was a really sad day. I got sat down by somebody who said, listen, we tell people you can do whatever you want to do. And we believe that, but unfortunately, you have a condition that will prevent you from being an astronaut. And I kind of sunk down in the chair, and I was like on the verge of heartbroken, but I wanted to know what was going on. And I was like, "What's my condition?" And he looked at me and he goes, "You're too dumb to be an astronaut."
That's hurtful. That is really hurtful. That was a public school, I'm sure.
That's not a real story. That didn't happen. I was trying to make me being an idiot into a dramatic storyline for once.
I was waiting.
This is true. That's why I didn't go to the United States Air Force Academy. True story. I was actually working on going to the Air Force Academy, and I was actually had a letter, and then they said, "You are too." All I wanted to do was fly. And they said, "You're too tall. You're too tall to fly." I checked out of high school at like 6'4", and they were like, "Nope, too big."
You and Stoneman from the Stoneman Bad Bowlers Club.
Just together, you'd have a regular size dude.
You guys have a similar story, except for he can't fly because he's too short.
They give him a booster.
No. I'm serious. That's why he can't fly. So you're too tall and he's too short. So somewhere in between.
And if you'd like to learn what I mean, Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club takes place tomorrow night. Spare Time Entertainment right here in Greenville off of Congaree Road, right off the side of the interstate. Can't miss it. Go to ClassicRock1011.com, ClassicRock1011.com. Those are numbers, not letters. ClassicRock1011.com. You'll see the link at the top in the center because Stoneman designs the website and is an egomaniac. His name is right there, dead center at the top of the page. So click on Stoneman's Bad Bowlers Club. Get yourself signed up. Come out. We play every Thursday from, I forgot, I've been gone 2 weeks.
It's 7 to 9. I guarantee you, if you come out, I will give you an awkward, nerdy fist bump. And then I will eyes down and try to avoid doing it again.
There it is. Coming out, we're going to be at Spare Time Entertainment tomorrow. I love you tomorrow. It is not too late to sign up. Go to ClassicRock1011.com and come out and bowl with me and Lonzo. I think Diesel's going to be back tomorrow.
He's going to be back working.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's coming out. I'll go.
He's supposed to. You know what? If he doesn't, he shouldn't get a shirt.
No, that's true. He doesn't get a shirt.
The shirts are rocking.
Shirts are sick. Although they're Panthers colors.
So, I'm sorry that bothers you, but we're in Panther country.
I know. I'm reminded frequently.
I just know it matches my new bowling shoes and bowling ball. So
also, Sunday, coming out to Wings at Center in Boiling Springs, where I'll be hosting the Carolina Kickoff Show at 11 a.m. as they get set up to take on Philadelphia, the Eagles. I broadcast live 2 hours before kickoff. So at 11 a.m., I'll take you from 11 to 12, hand off the reins to the Carolina Panthers broadcast crew, and then I hang out and watch the game. So if you're not doing anything on Sunday, come on by Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs, South Carolina. At 11 a.m., I am live. I'll hang out with you guys from 12 to 1 as we listen to the Carolina pregame show, and then I'll hang out and watch the games with you. So come on by, hang out, Wings Etc. Bowling Springs, Sunday from 11 to 1. I'd love to get the chance to shake y'all's hand, meet you, say hello, and the Wings, pretty good.
I would just say the Wings are really good. I've had the pleasure of broadcasting live from there before, but if you go there and it's packed and you're trying to figure out where Rob is, just listen. You'll find him.
I'll be wearing the bowling shirt on Sunday.
No,
so.
he will be the loudest person there.
Yeah, I had last week, I was sitting out because they put me out of the back porch, and the guy comes up. I'm on break, and a guy comes up and he says, why are you out here? Why aren't you into the bar? And then I started a segment, and he learned. He learned real quick. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP, ESPN is the number. Stephon Gilmore, former University of South Carolina Gamecock, is now a Carolina Panther. He was a New England Patriot, but they went into contract discussions. They could not get a deal worked out. He is on the PUP list, so he's ineligible to play until week 7, but the 2019 AP defensive play, 2019 AP defense last year. This guy was the defensive player of the year, could not come to terms with the New England Patriots. So now he is a member of the Carolina Panthers. A Gamecock joins the silver and blue right up the road in Charlotte. That, Lonzo, is a massive pickup. That's a massive pickup.
I got to say, this means absolutely nothing, but I'm going to say it anyway. I never thought he looked right in a Panthers uniform. He's going to look good. I mean, in a Patriots uniform. He's going to look good in a Panthers uniform. He looked great in a Gamecocks uniform. I know it doesn't matter. It just didn't look right. It didn't feel right. Maybe it's because he's a former Gamecock and I root for the Gamecocks, and he was playing for the cursed Patriots, but not anymore. So welcome home.
Cursed.
It's worse than cursed.
How? Like how much worse? The difference between cursed and cursed.
Okay.
Cursed is what you say if you're like, I'm a dungeon master.
All right, so
cursed.
So I got requested to do that voice on Mark's show last week, and I wouldn't do it because that's an exclusive to the Rob Brown show.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So cursed, your heart is black, but there's a little bit of red in there.
Okay.
Cursed, it's coal.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Stephon Gilmore, a native of Rock Hill, South Carolina, but he is. I'll give you this. Here's why he's a 6th round pick. The guy's 31 years old. All right. You're looking at 3 to 4 more seasons. Again, coming off a year, where's the AP Defender of the Year? All right. But you're looking at 3 to 4 more seasons. That being said, y'all are seeing the trajectory of the Panthers go up.
He's coming to a better defense, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Especially a better front.
Yeah.
And a better front's going to free him up to be able to do.
I mean, we said that, but then last week happened.
I know.
Question is, are they the team that held Alvin Kamara to his least rushing yards in his entire career before he came back and reeled off a hundo last week against the Giants? Or are they the defense that let Zeke get to 100 for the first time in like a year and a half and let Dak, by the way, Dak Prescott could not run for anything against Philly the week before. He comes back home. He takes on Carolina. He's running around the field like he never had an injury. Which one of those was real? Was last week a one-off? Or is that who the Panthers are? Because if it is, Stephon Gilmore doesn't help you any, right? Like, what is that? He doesn't help you any. But if Burns and Riddick and Derek Brown and the rest of the guys can pick it back up in the front 7, start putting pressure on other quarterbacks to throw the ball, now all of a sudden having Stephon Gilmore back there is a game changer for the Panthers. Game changer.
And they also, I believe, have some injuries on defense too, and you're going to get some of those guys back. So I'm hoping last week was an anomaly. And there's also the thing that Zeke Elliott's pretty good, and Dak Prescott's really, really good. Better than what people thought he was.
Correct on that count. correct on that.
I've seen a lot of the national guys saying that they've come around and now they consider him elite. I don't know when that happens, when you become elite. Maybe it's
when Omega says hello.
Okay.
Was that the joke you were going with?
It wasn't, but
okay.
yeah. That just killed everything I was going to do.
No, dang. What were you going to say?
I have no idea.
Say it.
Because I had to think about what you were saying to get it instead of just automatically getting it, and then I got it, and then now I'm thinking wrestling.
Correct. Panthers have Dante Johnson and veteran nickel cornerback AJ Bouye, but we're relying on a mixed bag last week because J.C. Horn was lost to a broken foot. They're also without Justin Burris, who was on the IR with a groin injury. They did trade for former top 10 pick C.J. Henderson, but the 23-year-old cornerback has not eased into that role. Rashad Melvin, along with young corners Keith Taylor Jr. and Stanley Thomas Oliver III, Esquire. Stanley Thomas Oliver III, who must be referred to, Lonzo, with his entire full name top to bottom. Stanley Thomas Oliver III.
That's either an author name or a serial killer. I don't know.
I feel like I got to say it with like a deeply British accent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stanley Thomas Oliver III.
At least you didn't use a Boston accent.
Go Pats! Family pack! I swear it'll come out of the system eventually. All right, 844 GSP ESPN. Speaking of, real quick, can we talk about, ladies and gentlemen, the starting running back for your Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold. Starting running back Sam Darnold, after one of his 2 rushing touchdowns against Dallas, it felt weird. After his second one, it was like Galloping Sam? That's the guy we're talking about. Panthers quarterback never really been known for his running ability, but on Sunday, Darnold is now the first quarterback in NFL history to run for 5 touchdowns in the first 4 games of the season. Mike Vick has never done it. Lamar Jackson has never done it. Patrick Mahomes has never done it. Cam Newton has never done it, although he almost did it last year with the Patriots. He got his 5th touchdown in week 5 last year. By the end of the first half on Sunday, Darnold had notched 28 yards on the ground, but his rushing touchdowns lead. Let me take it down just a little bit so you guys can really grasp what I'm saying here. Lonzo, Sam Darnold has 5 rushing touchdowns. That leads the National Football League. Sam Darnold is the number 1 scorer of touchdowns on the ground in the league. Not in Carolina. Not in the NFC South. Not in the NFC. In the league. He has rushed for more touchdowns. Sam Darnold, not Christian McCaffrey. Sam freaking Darnold has done that.
So someone, if you were unaware of football and someone pointed to Sam Darnold standing on the sidelines in his uniform and told you that, there's no way you believe that.
No. Dude is 5'11", 6'12" with his hair. You would not believe it.
He kind of has a Peyton Manning tall forehead too, which makes him just a little bit taller.
You know, like Peyton knew, like you got to keep the hair close to the when you're rocking the 5 head, you got to keep the hair pushed down. Trust me, I know. Darnold's just like, whatever, dog. Whatever. I just rushed for 5 touchdowns. I lead the league. If we told this to Sam Darnold, he'd go, what, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns? How many has anybody else rushed for? Oh, that's right. Nobody.
And also, you got to throw it out there. It's not like they were quarterback sneaks. It's not like they were.
Those are options.
Yeah, he goes in untouched sometimes, and he looks smooth while he's doing it. It does not like awkward falling forward. He's going in like
4 of the 5. He's just walked in and flipped the ball to the ref.
And no one's catching it yet. No one's consider. How long does it take the league to realize that this guy's a running threat?
He's not. the crazy part. He is not a running threat.
5 touchdowns would beg to differ that.
It's unbelievable. The dude is not a running threat, yet leads the league in touchdowns on the ground. It's unreal. And they're options. They're read options. What I think, I'm doing this off the top of my head. 1 busted play, 2 QB draws, and 2 read options inside the 5. Sam.
By the way, I looked it up because I was curious. His 40 was a 4.85.
Bro, I'm not kidding. I ran a 4.77 in high school.
And I ran a 4.9 in high school. So he's like right in between us. So if we were running a race, you'd win, he'd be second, I'd be third. We'd all be right there, though.
I would like to point out that I was faster than the NFL's leading touchdown scorer on the ground.
There's still time. You're not even close to Tom Brady's age. Go ahead. Go for it.
I'm just saying. Speaking of, that reminds me. I got a question for you when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo. Look like you were in physical pain. Cool. Then I got a question for everybody except Lonzo on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
All right. So any questions?
I'm just trying to make some notes in my head. So you said you've already got. How far in advance do you have to come in and set up the stuff for this show?
Well, I'm also on a show on WORD. So because I'm on that show, I come in a little bit earlier. It takes me probably 5 minutes to set it up. If that, it might take me less. As far as setting up that, probably about 5 minutes. But then I go ahead and get all this set up, get things ready to record, get all my social media up and stuff. And like I've already, while I was sitting there while we were talking, I edited and posted.
Yeah, I noticed you were doing something too.
I posted last hour's podcast and shared it on Facebook. Which all of it sounds complicated. It's not. This is actually one of the easier shows to do.
Just because you're both in here, that kind of thing?
That helps. As far as running the show goes, though, from this standpoint, people not being in the studio is actually a little bit easier. As far as the technical, all that stuff, because there's no small talk in between. There's a lot of things, distractions that you don't have if you're worried about all this stuff. And the way Rob and I do it, just like now, Facebook can hear everything I'm saying. So yes, that's why we're live on Facebook every day. There's only 2 shows that do that. They can't see you, but they can hear you. I also have a show on Saturday nights on Word, and that's what we first started doing Upstate Pulse. So end up being live like 6 days a week on camera, and you just don't.
I had a buddy who used to work over here. I went to college with him. I think he may have been. I think his name was Patrick.
Patrick Brown.
Yep.
Yes.
Patty Cakes, as we called him.
I will have to call him that later.
Oh no! Don't.
As a matter of fact, I might do that to him right now.
Oh no! Don't. Don't do that.
What you worry about? All right, I'll just wait till later when you're not around.
Yeah, don't tell him who gave you that information.
Yes, I miss Patrick dearly because we had a lot of fun on Upstate Pulse when he was there.
And y'all cover what on that show?
Pop culture.
Okay. All right, wrestling something.
We cover wrestling
on this show.
Yeah.
Hey, I've actually missed the last couple of pay-per-views, because big games have happened. Like Green Bay was playing on Sunday night a couple weeks ago. I'm like, sorry, I can go back and watch Extreme Rules or whatever it was. But I mean, so
I gotta say, I usually choose the wrestling over the NFL because Peacock sucks, and although now you can rewind back a half hour, So that's progress. You can go back a half hour during a live show as opposed to not at all.
I missed the WWE Network.
Yeah, it was much better.
It was better suited to handle this.
It was better to navigate. There were a lot of things better about it.
Yeah, but we got it taken away. People overseas still got it. So
Yeah, there's that.
There is logic that is lacking. But so you're saying it shouldn't take me long to pick up on all this, really?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm.
If you are as skilled as
you say you
as,
are,
no, that Cole says you are. And you come highly recommended from him. I don't know what that really means, though. It is Cole.
Putting the pressure on me. So he's hyped me up or something?
Yeah, he's really hyped you up.
Yeah, Cole and I have known each other for like 10 years. We've worked together covering high school games and everything. He used to call the Bowling Springs games.
Does Cole have any nicknames like Patty Cakes? I need to know that.
Not that I know of.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You're just not telling me because you know that right away. I'm gonna.
I honestly don't know.
Well, I'll text Cole later and find out if you have any of those nicknames.
Well, I'll tell you.
I'm sure Patrick probably has a nickname for you if you have one for him.
Well, no, that's what he said to call him or something like that.
Did he really? Oh,
or either that or somebody came. I can't remember how that came about. But I remember. I mean, when the guys on one of our radio crews with the high school stuff I cover, they call me what because that's my most often asked question. What?
See, I would.
If I miss something,
I wouldn't tell me that because that implies that you're not listening. So I mean, you know.
It doesn't bother me as much as like it did when it first started.
All right, we're going to talk Cardinals-Dodgers coming up in the next segment. Little NL wildcard game action tonight. Somebody's moving on and somebody's going home. We're going to break that game down. But before we do that, somebody asked a question on Twitter. And I don't usually bring these questions to the air. Sometimes they're fun. Most of the time they're not, though. Lonzo, let's use you in your prime. Let's say when you were my age, 36.
Was that my prime? I don't know.
I switched it up.
Because
my prime was probably 24.
Are we talking about prime as far as physically? Okay. Because
in your prime,
I'd like to say I'm at the top of my game right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's go physically.
I win awards, Joe.
Let's go physically, Mr. My middle finger is swollen from bowling.
It's a common thing. I looked at it, especially for people my age.
All right. How many plays could you last in an NFL game consecutively if you got to pick whatever position you wanted to play on any given play? Consecutively, how many plays could you make in an NFL game if you got to pick your position every play?
All right, so I'm confused. So I get to pick the position that I'm playing in an NFL game.
You can go, okay, this play I'm going to play wide receiver. This play I'm going to play
well, see, back, I mean, I'm going to play kicker every time.
No,
I'm not going to get touched.
Consecutive plays. So, like, you can pick kicker for a play,
okay,
but then you're on defense the next play.
All right. See, I automatically I'm thinking, well, I played offensive guard in college. I played both ways in high school. I can handle that kind of stuff. And you're saying in prime,
in the NFL,
in my prime, I would have been way too small. So I would say safety. As we've talked about, probably not fast enough, but I still safety because I'm gonna bring that right there. Notice I didn't hit my chest this time because I'm not gonna hurt myself.
So I just want to point out what happened is as Lonzo convinces you that he could bring the lumber against NFL running backs, he had to hit himself on the shoulder.
No.
Because the last time he hit himself in the chest, he was bruised for 3 days.
It was a forearm.
But he could take Derrick Henry, you guys.
No. Derrick Henry is not enough. But you. that was back in like 88, 89. So look at the size of NFL players then compared to the size of NFL players now, and I would have a better shot of being alive at the end of the thing. Now, bigger, stronger compared to the size of the players now, I mean, it's astronomical. So if you compare it then, yes, I think I could have lasted because like anybody else around that age who had played the game, you had aspirations. You believed, hey, I'm just one coach away from looking and realizing the talent that's been passed over from being there.
Okay, the correct answer is 3.
Why 3?
3.
Why 3?
Because the first time any one of us in our prime got punked by an NFL player, we're done.
I disagree.
Done.
I disagree.
Done. In my 4.72, I'm faster than Sam Darnold days.
Even
one hit from one of these freaks of nature, and you're done.
I averaged a sack a game in high school, and that's not an Al Bundy thing. It really happened. Okay,
it's kind of an Al Bundy thing.
It's not. My senior year, I did that. I could handle.
I am very sure. School in Ohio, we're definitely on the same scale as
you weren't
NFL
there.
Offensive line.
You weren't there.
Didn't need to be.
You weren't there.
Didn't need to be. Didn't need to be. Even in Big Ten country, high school O linemen are nowhere near an offensive. You ever been around offensive linemen?
Yes.
Okay. Any like NFL offensive linemen?
Yes.
All right.
But again, the offensive lineman now compared to the size of an offensive lineman in like 1988 are two totally different things.
3 places the answer. And I am including kicking an extra point as one of them.
How about punting? It's 2 different positions. It's 2 different positions.
Punter gives you the advantage of.
You still got to run down. I mean, you could lag back and not run down.
I'm talking about to last as long as you can. I'll give you $5,000 for every play you stay on the field consecutively.
All right, I'm going kicker. I'm going.
So it's
consecutive.
Like once the punt, then you're on offense. You're on defense. You're on defense until there's a changeover. Then you're on punt return. Then you're on offense. Or flip side.
All right. Here's the thing. I'm on punt.
Okay. Are you punting or are you gunning?
I'm punting.
You're punting. So a 28-yard punt.
All right. So I'm punting. Then I'm kicking off.
You don't kick off the play after a punt when you
do
punt.
have to. I mean.
You're on defense.
All right, fine.
So you got to play defense.
All right, so I'm going to be a punter.
Okay.
Then I'm going to be a cornerback.
Cornerback. You're actually putting responsibility on yourself.
Yeah. You didn't say we.
There's also the good chance you're going to get blocked by Antonio Brown, and I suspect he's got the form to take you out of plays physically.
Not if I get out of the way. And at my speed, he's going around me before I even get a chance to try to block him.
So Lonzo's strategy, as soon as the ball snapped, I'm just sprinting to the sideline.
No. I'm on the field. I'm definitely on the field. All right, so punter, then cornerback. All right, so you're still, if you do it that way, so I can't be cornerback for a third play. So for the third play, let's see. Then you're in trouble when you get to the third play if you start it, because then you're going to have to, then I'll be safety. So punter, cornerback, safety. That's 3 plays.
I will go. I'm kicking an extra point. Then I'm on the kickoff team as like the outside gunner, like the far guy out.
No, I got you. And you accidentally got forced out of bounds. I get it.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
You can't come back in.
Bingo.
So, there's that.
Then I'm going defense. And I'm going probably I'm gonna go like single, like I'm going deep safety. I'm going free safety. I'm going just stand in the back and pray that it's a running series for the other team. So I'm going free high safety. And I think playing free safety, I could probably make it 4 or 5 plays. I would go the vast majority of people listening, the first hit they take, they're done. on any situation. The first hit they take, they're done.
See, if you're playing safety, though, it's your job to come down and make a hit. And all you got to do is go for the ankles.
I'm begging my defensive tackles. Derek Brown saved me. Saved my life, DB.
Also, back in my day, I could have gotten away with a little bit more than you could in your day, in your prime.
Was that back when you had to walk uphill in the snows both way to school, Grandpa?
By the way, everything you just said is accurate. So note to self, take to happen equipment, because that could be really, really bad.
844-477-3776, 844-GSP ESPN. When we come back, we talk NL Wild Card, game numero dos of the MLB playoffs for 2021. Somebody's winning, somebody's going home tonight. Yankees knocked off by the Bo Sox yesterday. We'll break that one down, too, as we head towards Twitter, trending topics on the Rob Brown Show, and ESPN Upstate.
Sorry I made that more complicated than what it was. That requires some thought, though.
You mentioned Patrick. Well, I mentioned Patrick. We worked together on North Greenville games and stuff like that. Had a little sports show we did on Student Radio Station. So it's like NGU Sports Talk. We just covered all sorts of stuff in that hour. Divided it into quarters, you know. Our last segment would be the roundup, like just random funny stories, you know.
So I don't believe for a second that Patrick could be funny. So
and we did have some running jokes on that show.
I don't want to say that I love Patrick, but I love Patrick. Had some really good times with him. Hated when he decided to become a pro golfer, but whatever.
Oh, what?
He's a golf pro now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I haven't heard from Patrick much since we graduated.
Yeah, he's a golf pro now. He's working on getting his card. So
like to where he would be
playing on the PGA.
Oh, Brown. What you want to do? Go for it. Go get it.
Well, I want him to do that. That way I can go to a golf match and heckle him and get kicked out, because that would be awesome.
Kind of like the guy in Happy Gilmore, kind of like that.
Yes.
Rob, just wanted to clarify something. You know, when you said something about killing, and I made a joke about over in Spartanburg.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to compare you or anything. I'm just like, it's basically incoherent over there. Here, I can actually understand.
Keep in mind, we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Which I don't have a problem with that,
Right.
but I just want you to know that.
No. Yeah, it's fun. You know, I don't get to listen to sports radio as much as I used to. But when I do, this here is probably my first stop. So
As well, it should be. I'm trying to find the size of players back in 1988. And it's kind of hard. Oh, there we go. Jeff Bostic, the starting center for the Washington football team, which were the Redskins 1988, the champions, 6'2", 268. I could handle that. Did you hear me?
Yes.
That's a starting center, 6'2", 268.
That's my size. But, I mean, 268 muscle is a lot different than this 260.
But what I'm saying is, because of size of player back then, you got a better shot of surviving than you would now. Now, there's no way.
Oh, I agree.
So you said where are you from, Rob, originally?
Florida. Florida Panhandle.
Okay. I have yet to get to go visit Fenway for a game. So that's on my to-do list.
No, move it to the top of your to-do list. It is,
If I can get
dude.
to
I
it.
just got when I walked in, I got goosebumps from seeing it.
I went there on a mission trip. We were coming back from New Hampshire,
Right.
and it was our damn.
Sorry. Matt World, next break.
Okay. All right. Yankees Red Sox last night. The Boston Red Sox get the win. Nathan Eovaldi was an absolute killer, son, for the first 5 as he was just getting after it. The Yankees were just really unable to get anything going. Giancarlo Stanton, who has been white hot for the Yankees towards the back half of the season, was the only guy with any consistent success. He went 3 of 4 with a dinger in Fenway Park. Aaron Judge 1 for 4 in this game with no RBIs. Anthony Rizzo also went 1 for 4, though he did have a home run to show for it, putting up one of the only 2. You ended up getting another RBI out of Giancarlo Stanton. That gave them the 2. But Boston, not just went into the bullpen, but the bullpen was it was all right. You had 3 guys go a full inning. Hawk got 2 strikeouts. Robles got 1. Altogether, 11 strikeouts, 0 walks conceded by the Boston Red Sox last night, which is, really good in the playoffs. Really good. What I tell y'all, I say it every year. And definitely all the 2 years I've been here during baseball's playoffs. And this is why I'm actually a little mad at myself. By the way, hey, Lonzo, 6 runs for the Red Sox, 2 runs for the Yankees. How many runs total is that?
What?
6. I can't be mad because I do it all the time. 6 runs for the Red Sox, 2 runs for the Yankees. What's the total number of runs there?
That would be 8.
The over-under on this game, do you remember what I told you it was?
Yeah, you're cheating. I'm not gonna. Yeah, no.
7.5.
Was it 7.5?
7.5. And who? I wonder. Told you yesterday. Hammer the over in this game. Boom. Yeah, boy. You're welcome. Free money. Thank you. Take it to the.
We didn't play the sounder. If we had, I would have remembered.
I know. I really should have. I thought about it.
I mean,
thought about it.
You put all that effort into putting that together,
And
and
then
we've
use
used
it.
it like twice. Yeah. There's actually one intro that effort was put into putting together.
I know. We just haven't even done it yet.
We haven't even done the
Haven't done it yet.
segment.
We might.
That was like a month ago.
Can't do it tomorrow.
No, because we decided to do that on Tuesday, but then we always skip it on Tuesday.
Why have Tuesdays been so busy? Because like Monday's Overreaction Monday. Monday's Overreaction Monday where we go into the weekend and we're like, it's crisis. Then Tuesday's the day you start talking about sports more reasonably, and then I look up and it's 2:45.
I would like to personally take responsibility for us not doing that segment. I apologize. We're going to do better in the future.
I would like to personally give you responsibility for us not doing that segment. So good. I feel better.
You know what? I don't remember what the segment's called. Do you?
Well, we had to come up with a new name for it. Because the premise was, am I the blank hole? Like people, and it's
Faces and Heels. That's
Faces
what it was.
and Heels. That's why we went with the wrestling
I
theme.
had to find the intro.
So basically, the
for it.
premise of the segment we're gonna do is give you a situation that has happened to someone somewhere in real life, and you get to decide: are they the face or are they the heel? Are they the good guy or the bad guy? Are they the regular person or the bleep in the conversation?
Like, let's say a baseball umpire. Is he the face or is he the heel? If there's a certain situation kind of thing.
Heel.
That would have worked
Sure.
for the story.
Like Joe West, right? Joe West, third, who by the way sucks, and I'm glad he's retiring. Like, I hope he sincerely, as a person, I hope he enjoys his retirement.
I thought you were doing.
I'm talking about an umpire. I hope that he enjoys his retirement. I hope he gets to spend time with friends and family, and I hope he loves the rest of his life, and I hope he lives a long, healthy life. And damn, I'm glad he's gone because he's terrible. Last Sunday, 4th inning, Bo Sox leading the game, Aaron Rodgers at the Aaron Judge at the dish. Perfect strike thrown into the glove. The catcher holds it for a second, goes to transfer to his hand to throw back, and he just misses the transfer. And Joe West calls it a drop third strike. The catcher had already held it, turned, spun, moved it to his hand. Not a drop third strike. And Joe West called it. So a pitch or two later, Judge ropes a double out into center field, scores 2 for the Yankees, and the Yankees end up winning that game. That game, if it sticks the way that it was and the Red Sox win, they win the division a day earlier. They can rest up everybody a day earlier going into the wild card game. And the Yankees are, Yankees would have still played. It was just bad, man. It was just bad. It's just bad. Here, I'll give you one. Face or heel. And this is for later. We'll do it later. Face or heel. I'm at a ball game in Atlanta a couple of years ago. There is a bachelor party there. All right. We're out in right field, sitting up in the right field box, which is the chop house. It's what they call it. It's like a bar. It's like an open bar area. So we're in the chop house, and there's a bachelor party up there. And one of the players I think they're playing the Mets. The Braves were at the dish. The Braves are at the dish. And there's a home run out to the chop house. And one of the guys in the bachelor party catches the ball, and he hands it to the bachelor, right? He hands it to the guy that's getting married. It's a Braves home run at a Braves game in a Braves park. He hands the ball to the bachelor. And one of the parents sends their kid, 5, 6 years old, over to the bat. Like, the kid walks. I can't say the parents sent him. Maybe the kid did it on his own, but I doubt it. So a little 5, 6-year-old kid.
You would think a kid that age wouldn't go unaccompanied. Right. Yes.
So 5, 6-year-old kid walks over to the bachelor, who has just been handed. He didn't catch it, but the guy in the bachelor party handed it to the bachelor. 4 or 5-year-old kid walks over to him with his hand out, like, give me the ball. And the bachelor just looks at him and then just kind of turns around and puts the ball in his pocket. And the little kid, is just standing there with his hand out. And then, 4 or 5 people go up to the guy, and they're like, you're not going to give that kid the ball? And he's like, dude, I'm on my bachelor party. I'm getting married tomorrow. I just got a Braves home run ball at the Braves park. No, I want to keep this. This is a special event reminder of my wedding weekend. And they're like, dude, give the kid the ball. And he wouldn't do it. And people started booing him. But boo! Adults started booing this man on his bachelor party at a game for not giving the game ball to a little 4-year-old kid who walked over. Is he the face or is he the heel, Lonzo?
He is the face. And here's the reason why. He was gifted that ball. He was gifted that. That was a wedding gift given to him. Regifting is bad. You may think regifting is okay, but if he gave the ball to the kid, he would have been regifting, and that's looked down upon. So kudos to him. He obviously is the face. Now, is the kid the heel? No, the kid are the heel. Yes.
Ordinarily,
you can't. It's a crowd. They're going to do stuff like that, but you got to blame the kid's parents for sure.
Ordinarily, your 3 levels deep contrived explanations for situations like guys shouldn't spike the ball because someone might lose a groin make me groan.
Scientific fact. Yep. And you groan too if you lost your groin.
But this one, cool. I will accept it because not because it's right, but because it makes you right. The parents of that kid are absolutely the heel. Here's the thing. If a grown adult at a baseball stadium catches a ball and they want to give it to a kid, they will find a kid and give it to them. Okay? If they want to give that ball to a kid, they will find a kid and give it to them. And if they want to keep the ball, so here's the thing. I've never caught a home run ball. I've never caught a foul ball at a major league ballpark. It's a bucket list for me. Bucket list for me. And I promise you, if I catch one, I'm not giving it away. It's mine. It's mine. And I'm going to go dig up the television broadcast from that game, and I'm going to print a picture from the broadcast of me catching the ball, and I'm going to put it in a shadow box, and it's going to go in my man cave. If you send your little kid over to me with his hand out looking for the ball, I'm going to send you a disappointed little child back. All right? And I'm not going to feel bad for it. If I want to give the ball to a kid, I'll give the ball to a kid. But for the first one, I don't. After that, cool, I got one. After that, I'll give the ball to a kid. No problem. First one's mine. But if you send your kid up to an adult to get something from him, you are the heel. You are the bad guy. All right? You're the bad guy. Not the guy who doesn't want to give the ball away. It's his ball. You are the bad guy, and you deserve. If you're going to boo somebody in the chop house for that, you boo the parents who sent the kid and set them up. Because when they tell the kid, go ask that man for the ball, the kid thinks what? I'm getting a baseball. I'm getting a baseball. And now he doesn't get a baseball, and he's sad, and the parents are angry for what? Because your kid just didn't get something that you expected him to get for free? And they booed this man on his bachelor party. They booed this man because he wanted to keep a souvenir from a ballpark he probably has never gotten to go to see his team that he's never gotten to see play in person play the night before he gets married. Nah, bro. Absolutely not. The parents are the bad guys. So but we do a whole segment starting next week because it's funny to me. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. We got Twitter trending topics, maybe, if we have time. When we come back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Mad World.
Mad World is open. It is the number one haunted attraction in the entire state of South Carolina, and it is one of the most awarded haunted attractions around the entire United States of America. And if you have not gotten to experience it yet, let me tell you, friend, this is the year because it is bigger, better, badder than ever before. More scenes, more scare rooms, more actors, more props, more scale. It is different. It is something you have never. Mad World. God, I'm a loser. Ryan says, Yankees suck.
Hey, yo.
Yankees suck.
I mean, you can just move back and let me out. I'm just moving my stuff so it's out of Rob's way.
Dr. Baker DMD just released a Halloween themed shirt.
Yeah, I just.
Oh, is it you that sent that to me?
Yes.
Oh, I thought Keegan sent it to you. It was you that sent it. Solid. Like it. Love it. The show is hysterical. I'm a new listener from Houston. You guys remind me of Ted Lasso and Coach Beard. Thanks for the follow. Keep up the good work. Oh, hell yeah, man. Oh, we got a listener from Texas. That's awesome.
So they can hear you.
Don't tell him.
So they can hear you right now?
This guy's listening to, actually, I don't know if he's watching on the stream. I'm assuming he's not because he hasn't commented over here. We run the stream. Anybody who comments on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, they actually show up on our feed here. So I'm betting this guy's probably listening on the Odyssey stream in which case he is hearing the same thing that goes out over the air.
Okay, so
the guys on the stream hear everything that goes into this microphone the whole time.
Yeah.
Which is why Lonzo keeps the Wide Orbit 1, which runs the commercials, out of whatever feed goes into here, but keeps these two mics on. So when we're on break, we can actually interact with the listeners on the stream.
Hey, boy. Okay, I can see it kind of right now with the gaps and everything. Okay. See, I'm learning. That's why I'm asking. Trying to pick up stuff quick, you know?
That's a good thing. Don't expect response from Rob because he's half paying.
But yeah, not gonna lie, that just coming home from the trip in New Hampshire that one summer, stopped at Fenway. There was a little concert going on. Told the people, "Hey, we're from out of town. Can we just go in here for a minute? We'll be out of your way." They said, "Sure." Okay.
Next time I go back to Boston, which I will,
Yeah.
it's I'm taking the tour. I wish I would have taken the tour because in the tour they take you behind the Green Monster. They take you into it, and you can sign it, so you can write your name on it on the back side. So we didn't get to take the tour. We just didn't have time. But next time I go to Boston, I'm 100% like a day just for that. Yeah, right.
How many commercials do you usually have in a break? Usually,
It varies between 4 and 6 minutes.
depending on length and everything.
I have no idea why it varies. It just does.
You're just like, okay.
That's part that we don't add or take away from. So
Yeah.
just got to make sure that they play.
Yeah.
And also 59 is when I usually play the music. And when I hit the ID this time, going into the next show, now SportsCenter is back. So I have to bring up ESPN. And I have to get out of the way. And usually it's Diesel I have to get out of the way from. And he walks with a wide gait. So you really have trouble getting past him. So that's why I get rid of all my stuff. He'll also threaten to steal your lunch money. He's a bully. Play can't play Assassin's Creed. Because he comes in, he's so jacked and he walks in like this. You find you play a game like how you are? Because I think I do. I think I always play a tank because that's just who I am in real life.
Nope. I think it's easy to fall into that if the game is too tough, right?
But I like tanking. I do.
See, I've every RPG I've ever played, I've always played stealth characters, rogue characters, which is not me at all. But I do play with not warlocks, but wizards, like the educated side of them, like the dorky, nerdy wizards.
The haughty.
Yeah, the haughty intellectual academic wizards. Or I play like tanks, but I don't do it often.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics, and we actually do have time for Twitter trending topics today.
Hey, we did it!
We're so excited. A
second on that. You had to decide which one to use because we have time.
Yeah, actually, I did. And there's a couple I want to make sure that we
Birthday?
have. No, opposite.
Eddie Van Halen?
It's been a year since he died.
Oh, it's been a God already.
Yes, already.
Golly, it was Robin Williams' death day, and it's been like 6 years since he passed.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know, do you find that like as you get older, time continuously speeds up?
You have no idea.
Well, that's terrifying. I'm sorry.
You know what? It should be. It should.
At 36, like the years stop coming and they don't stop coming.
I'm not doing that.
Next.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. All right. The next thing.
Song, but I like
anyway, the next thing's trending is Twitch.
Twitch has been hacked. So if you were a Twitcher, Twitch, for those of you who don't know or not in the nerd realm, Twitch is a streaming
How can you
service.
not be a gamer? God, so weird. Go ahead.
Twitch is a service that allows you to stream over the internet as if you are a television channel, and the vast majority of people use it to stream video games. They use it to stream video games, and it's you playing video games you stream out. And there's some very popular. Anyway, it got hacked, and they gave up like 28.5 million passwords. So if you're a Twitcher, stop what you're doing right now and go change your password immediately.
We don't have time to talk about it, but you should read like the manifesto or what the reason why that they.
Oh, this was like a hit job.
Yeah. It makes no sense, and there are a lot about how dumb.
The Zodiac Killer. Are we at like a like an anniversary or something?
I
saw something that a few weeks ago that somebody thinks they may have decoded and it may have given an identity.
There's an entity called the Case Breakers, and they say they have identified who the Zodiac Killer was.
I don't believe them. I'd be interested.
Well, we can't. The person who they've identified
Is dead.
is dead.
Is dead.
And so that's how that works. All right, we got time for one more, and it's Joker.
Ooh. First off, Mark Hamill's the best Joker.
All right, that's not why it's tweeting.
I know it's not. I don't know why. That's
It's,
why I had
it's
to come up
about
with something.
it's about tonight.
Oh, the AEW. AEW.
Yeah, let me.
There at the end, which is definitely a thing that we don't do every single day. Tonight is the ladder match, which is going to be great, by the way. The more I think about it, the more I love it. Pac, Mox, Andrade. Who am I missing? There's one more, and then the Joker, right?
Yeah, I can't.
I can't remember. I'm missing the last
Yeah.
one. The last one's somebody who's not going to win. And anyway, and the joke, we don't know who the Joker's going to be.
That's why it's trending.
A lot of speculation. Did you catch, by the way? So Sammy Guevara beat, by the way, okay. Sammy Guevara beat Miro for the TNT Championship last week, and then he cut a promo where did you see who he welcomed through the Forbidden Door?
CJ Perry.
Bobby Fish.
Oh, that. Okay.
Bobby Fish.
Yeah.
CJ Perry, of course, aka Lana, the Ravishing Russian.
Yeah, there's a picture of that. Also, it's making it look like he's wrestling Bobby Fish tonight. I could be wrong.
He might be. All right, that's going to do it for the show. I hand it over to Mark Ryan and me for the next 4 hours of Sports Talk Radio greatness. Make sure you stick tuned for that for Offsides. For Lonzo, my name's Rob. Thanks for listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. Later, brother. All right.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Bears are moving forward with rookie Justin Fields as their starting quarterback. That announcement today from Coach Matt Nagy. To have success, Chicago needs to pare down its game plan for Fields and play to his strengths, advises ESPN's Tim Hasselbeck.
I was called by
and has confidence
Mr.
in.
Ass
And
himself.
then what's going to happen, Matt, at that point?
The fourth member of the New Age Outlaws. I have it on
You got to
video.
allow
Gotta find
him
that video.
to
Where it
play
is.
fast.
Wait,
You
I
have
got
to
called the
allow
fourth
him
member of the New
to
Age Outlaws,
play
or the
kind of
fourth member of the
assured.
New Age
I
Outlaws.
think that's what happens.
And that
if
is
you let
a
this
that
guy's
is a
natural
moment of pride I will
ability
carry
come
with me
through,
forever. Mark
I'm
Ryan.
really happy with the result.
The Patriots aren't releasing Stephon Gilmore
Mark
after
Ryan.
all, instead are trading the star cornerback. New England sending Gilmore to the Panthers for a 2023 sixth-round pick. That deal coming after the Patriots and Gilmore could not agree to terms
Lonzo.
on a restructured contract. Jaguars coach Urban Meyer today addressed his entire team, apologized for his behavior last weekend. A video surfaced on Saturday showing a young woman dancing close to his lap at an Ohio restaurant. The defending World Series champion Dodgers host a Cardinals team that won 19 of its final 22 games of the regular season. They meet in the NL wildcard game tonight, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Max Scherzer gets the start against Adam Wainwright. More on these stories on the 6 Eastern Sports Center on ESPN TV.
Oh, hey.
Garrett Cole is
yes,
supposed
and
to
the
be the
broadcast
difference in this team competing at a championship level.